One, two, skidoo, we're live. Wonder what this button does here.
Oh no, not that one.
Blind and Beyond.
Blind and Beyond.
It's the Blind and Beyond show.
With Harshid Trivedi.
And Dave Hillebrandt.
He'll be talking to all kinds of interesting people in the blindness community and beyond. I wonder where they could be. Let's check on them now.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Hey Hirsch, something weird is happening, man. I think we're landing. Wow.
I think we did land. And
Dave,
wow.
we did.
Whoa. We landed in the studio of all things.
That is so cool.
We landed right here on YouTube at the Blind and Beyond show. Welcome everybody. Good evening, one and all. So good to have you here. How's it going, Hirsch?
It's going, Dave. It's going. You know, all this tech stuff, all these little figuring outs, what bugs are working and what isn't working. So, we're always trying to learn how to do this better. And,
Lots of buttons, faders, all kinds of
faders,
weird
knobs.
stuff.
I mean, I had to hit that button on that spaceship. Was it? Yeah. Would you call it a spaceship? What do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun show tonight, I have a feeling.
I do think so myself. Our last episode was quite tremendous to me. If you haven't paid attention, actually, to the website or to our channel, it is youtube.com/blind and beyond show. So if you wanted to share amongst your friends, go ahead. Go to youtube.com/blind and beyond show. And there is a live tab there where you could watch this show live as we're doing it. The other piece is, I want to thank you, my audience. Seriously, we've just been doing this. This is episode 4, technically, but we've been doing this about 4 weeks. And Dave, if you wouldn't believe, we're almost at 100 hours viewed. And thanks to you all.
Amazing.
Like, wow. I looked at the numbers today. I was like 97.4. One episode watched. Let's say if the episode is 3 hours, we got our 100. So thank you. Seriously. Thank you to our audience members, the chat, and everybody else, Mike, Lada, and all these other folks, Simon Ray, for helping me set this up in the beginning. But, with that journey, there's a lot of cool things that happened last year, in my opinion. And I did get to go to our local meetings here, which was the FCB, Florida Council of the Blind meeting, where a couple friends got to meet up with me. And with this one friend, he's actually with us this evening. He is into sports, definitely. He is a musician. Let's see, what else can we remember? There's a lot to... We'll find out what he's into. But between sports, between being part of the Florida Council of the Blind activities members and stuff, I, without any further ado, would love to introduce you to Greg Lindberg. Greg, welcome to the show.
Woohoo!
Hello, Hershey and Dave. It's an honor to be here on Blind and Beyond, the YouTube version.
Yeah,
Honor is all ours,
Greg.
buddy. We've heard you so many times, and you have that voice, and you could sing along to other people's songs and do like, what do they call it, mimicking? What do you call that, Dave? When someone mimics your song, cover songs,
Covering.
Yes, he covers some excellent stuff.
right?
And-
I mean, oof.
But too bad we can't put him on here because YouTube
They'll cover
just
us up.
refuses. They'll cover us, exactly. Cover us with a big old black screen. But that's
Where did
okay.
Greg go? They covered him up. Sorry,
The
Exactly.
Greg.
blanket. Yeah, the YouTube
But
blanket.
if,
right?
if you want to give him a couple of notes, please don't feel shy at all. This is your stage, sir. And we want to learn more about you, where you come from. So let's just kind of rewind the tape as I always do. I find myself always rewinding cassette tapes. So,
Still
where do you come
rewinding,
from?
sorry.
Where were you born? Or, give us something that my audience could know. Who in the world is Greg? Before I say that, it's Greg with 2 G's, by the way. Double G Greg.
That's
Remember
right.
that.
Just 1 G at the end, 2 G's total. Yep.
And a silent Q somewhere in there.
That's right. Yep. And the formal name is Gregory, but please don't call me Gregory. When I was in trouble, my mom would call me that, but
Exactly.
I've kind of shed that as an adult. So
I'm with you.
Hopefully the significant other doesn't have to say that in the future.
Exactly.
Gregory?
true.
Oh, man, my wife is calling me, guys. Got to go.
Exactly. And if they connect it with the middle name, then you're in trouble.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you better not
double,
show up
right.
at all, probably.
First
at that
and
point.
middle. That's right. You're done. Just forget it. Yeah.
Pretty much. So where is Greg Lindberg originally from? That is, where were you born, per se?
Sure.
I assume you were born now. I was
I
not,
think
not
I was.
hatched or anything, right?
I don't remember the birth specifically, but I think it happened. But yeah, so I was born in Palm Harbor, Florida. Not Pearl Harbor, not Palm Beach. I do get those once in a
Yay,
while.
hey,
when I
from
mention-
Floridian, though. That's good.
Is that
That's
West Coast
right.
Florida?
Yeah, so it's near Clearwater, St. Petersburg area in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
Yep. So was born there, was bred there, grew up there. Pinellas County, as we like to say, us natives.
So it's Pinellas, not Pinellas.
Right. Technically, well, yeah. Most people say Pinellas, but to be funny, I can say
Pinellas.
Pinellas. Right.
Because, I'm in Volusia County, Orange. We got Dave over there pretty easy. Seminole County or Orange County. Or
Right.
Osceola is a card
You can't
word.
twist it too much over here, but even
That's
though as
true.
much as we try.
Right. But yeah, so
I am
was
right
born-
off of some moron Boulevard, though, or some moron.
Is it Samron? Samron. But
That
it's
is a funny street
interesting. So
name.
y'all are, so you're, I would say, a full-blood Floridian, I would like to say.
Correct,
You've lived here
yeah.
pretty much most of your life. So high school-wise and stuff, what was that like for you? Were you always with vision loss, blindness? Were you always blind? Or could you express that story there and like when you were a kid?
Sure. Yeah. So actually, at the age of 3, I went to the VA, believe it or not. So here I am, this 3-year-old, among all these World War II and Vietnam, Korea vets. Like, what is this 3-year-old doing at the VA hospital? But that's where I actually had all this testing done. They did an ERG. It's a long name. I think it's electroretinogram. So they had to hook up these electrodes to my eyes. So again, imagine a 3-year-old trying to sit still with all this stuff on my face, in my eyes. Somehow I made it happen. And after all that, they initially said that I had RP, retinitis pigmentosa, which is a progressive retinal condition. But then years later, I actually had genetic testing done. So they took my blood, my parents' blood, and determined that I actually have LCA, which is Leber's congenital amaurosis. Very similar condition to RP, both in that kind of, RP / retinal degenerative family. So it didn't really, in terms of like the diagnosis, didn't really change too much, but in terms of like potential treatments or things down the road, definitely helps to have that additional info. So yeah, I did have some sight growing up as a kid. Have always worn glasses. I actually got glasses when I was 3, probably shortly after that VA visit and diagnosis. And I remember I could see like the leaves on the trees. I remember my mom telling me, that I had said, oh, wow, I can actually see some details just outside, in nature, which I was never able to do before. And so had, kind of slow progression of the condition over time up until about 10 or 12 years ago when I had kind of a sharp decline. So really I was in my mid-20s when I really started losing significant vision. Again, prior to that, I was a magnification user, had the super, Coke bottle glasses, as they say, the
Hey, are you
stereotypical
trying to
kind
make
of
fun
thick
of me,
glasses.
Greg? Are you making fun of me, Greg?
So Greg, tell
I'm
me,
not.
how did your parents decide that you had difficulties to bring you into the eye doctor to begin with? Did they notice something in your behavior that didn't seem right, or did they even share that with you, that part of it?
Yeah, I was definitely bumping into things, just was not, they
That
noticed I
that gives
wasn't
it
like,
away right there, right?
oh yeah. I mean, so it's like, let's make sure he doesn't bump into like a concrete block or something too
Right.
hard, So
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
yeah, it was fairly obvious, when I was like 2.5 to 3 in that range. So they're like, yeah, we definitely got to get him checked out. And I feel like that's kind of the age. A lot of times before that, I've heard, it's not quite as known, even if someone is totally blind,
Sure.
for babies or infants or whatnot. It does take obviously some time to start moving around. And once you're kind of out and about a little bit more, then things do become a little more obvious.
Right.
Most
So
definitely.
you said your site took a dive about 12 years ago, but before that you had still relatively poor vision. Were you using a screen reader at that point?
Was not, no, pretty much a Zoom text reader, had all the
Gotcha.
little portable magnifiers, some of the video magnifiers. And yeah, was fair, able to kind of fake it till we make it, right? Get by with that. And
Right.
I do remember going to even like Kinko's back in the day. My mom and I would enlarge my textbooks, literally just copying them on these, huge copy machines just to enlarge them. Because,
Sure.
if there's a will, there's a way. That there wasn't always, accessible books or at that
Right.
point or electronic, versions of certain books. So just kind of did what we had to do.
So
So
not
Greg,
sure of your exact your age, but if you lost your vision, were you still in school or what? What's the scoop on that? Or
Yeah.
when you
So it,
when you lost it
yeah,
considerably anyway.
significant, right. So fortunately in my case it was after grad school. So I finished my master's in 2011 and then it was around 2014, 2015 when I started to have that sharp decline.
Gotcha.
so Greg, when you mentioned low vision equipment, and including Zoom Text Fusion, you have Zoom Text Fusion or regular or standalone Zoom Text, and all the variations of magnification. From what you remember back then, what was your favorite go-to device, and or what was your favorite feature about any of these software or hardware?
Yeah, I do remember specifically there was a program called Big Shot Magnifier. I have no idea if it's still around, but that was kind of like maybe like a toned down version of Zoom Text, essentially.
So
I
for your Windows machine back then, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
that was on Windows. And yeah, I remember using
Okay,
that in high school as a freshman in high school,
right,
kind of starting into the foray into, more assistive tech and
right.
just obviously
Well,
more,
that is
demand
an
in high
assistive
school.
tech as it is. The reason why I bring that up is sometimes we forget some with our own journeys, with our own vision loss, that some may only have a really limited vision loss, loss of vision. And as you mentioned, Lieber's LCB or
LCA. Yep.
LCA, excuse me,
Almost one letter off.
and well, RP, AMD, all these little acronyms. So AMD's adulthood macular degeneration,
It's gonna drive
RP,
me nuts.
retinitis pigmentosa, glaucoma. Call it the glauc. No, I'm kidding. It's called glaucoma, but with all these said, it's again knowing at your age group or our age group, because you are pretty much the same age as I am, which we got to learn at FCB, but knowing that there's technologies that are out there, because we've all talked about AI and this thing will do, it'll give you hopes and dreams, but not everything is all about hopes and dreams. Sometimes you have to be realistic, and magnification for you right now won't work. Zoom Text Fusion for
That's
me
right.
works somewhat for me right now. However, I'm still diving more and more into the screen reader side. So scripts for certain programs or applications are fairly important. Like our good friend Dave here, he uses Reaper. And if he doesn't have his scripts for Reaper, it doesn't enable him to bring in all this cool audio and video and all of this other stuff, right?
In fact, it
So
doesn't. It barely speaks at all at that point. So thank goodness for the
thank
people that
goodness.
make those scripts. But so getting back to you, Sir Greg, not Gregory. I almost made that
Yep.
mistake there
You
for a
got
second.
it.
So I'm wondering when you started getting into accessible sports, because I know you said you started losing your vision 12 years ago. So had you started into the I'm sure you could do some regular sports probably before that time, but when did you get into the accessible part of it?
Yeah, definitely a great question. So actually, my brother and I actually started bowling on leagues when we were youngsters. I was probably about 7, and this was, among fully sighted peers,
Wow.
whatnot. And so, I didn't have peripheral vision, but was able to still see the lane and the pins well enough at that point to be able to bowl. And I honestly bowled on leagues for a good almost 20 years when my vision did start declining more. But yeah, in terms of adaptive sports, I do, I think back to middle school, high school when I started getting orientation mobility, kind of, learning just more skills to be more independent. And my O&M instructor, Brian, at the time, he told me about beat baseball and goalball, some of these sports. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't, at the time, it's like I didn't identify myself as someone who was visually impaired or with a disability or all the labels that we go through, especially as a kiddo. You don't want to be bullied more, or, it's life's hard enough, middle school, high school years, and in a lot of cases. And you had a disability on top of it, and it just makes it even more challenging. And in some ways, I wish I would have kind of explored those earlier on. But so fast forwarding to 2012 is when I found out about the Tampa Lighthouse for the Blind and how they used to do an annual beat baseball game for about 25 years. They had this annual game, and I was like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. Like I've always been a baseball fan. I never really played baseball, as a kid or anything. But I was like, this sounds fun. This does sound pretty cool. So I remember going to that game in 2012, and I was like, wow, this is so so empowering. Again, I wish I would have discovered it sooner because of how much I enjoyed it. And I can definitely get into beat baseball, just kind of how it works. But I just remember, stepping on the field, putting on the blindfold, making contact, hitting the ball, and then, on defense, trying to field the ball. And it was like, this is so neat. Again, I wish I would have discovered it sooner. I wish I would have had that courage and confidence to kind of put myself out there earlier, at a younger age in the blind community.
So how much after you saw a beep baseball game or attended one did you actually participate and decide, hey,
Yeah,
I want to try this?
sure. So I think there was a practice I went to initially, and then I was like, yeah, I do want to play. So I did get to play in, that annual game in 2012 and then again in 2013. And I remember scoring some runs. I made a couple of putouts in the field. And I was like, wow, is this just beginner's luck? Or
You got
could
the
I
knack there,
actually,
buddy.
could I, make I don't want to say career out of this, but could I pursue this maybe a little more seriously? Yeah.
So are
So
you still playing beep baseball to this day?
Not as much. I did have an injury a few years ago. I dislocated my shoulder playing,
mhm.
so I have not, to be
It'll
honest,
slow you
played.
down a little bit, right?
Yeah, it will. Yep. So I have kind of transitioned to some other sports, that we can talk about too.
Awesome, awesome. And okay, so we've kind of figured you out from Pinellas. You kind of moved to the greater Orlando area. Would that be kind of true?
That's a Southern boy that would call it Pine Ellis. You got to
Pinellas,
throw in the
yes.
accent too. He,
Yes,
he,
That's
sir.
right.
he
We'll
didn't
take.
do that, but
Sorry.
that goes together with the Pine Ellis as the accent a little bit.
Yep. But yeah,
So
so as far as Orlando, so I've been here just over 2 years now in the Orlando
Okay.
area. And it was a job that brought me over here. I work for Full Sail University, which is in Winter Park, Florida.
What does Full Sail University offer? What do they do?
So we do a
What
lot
makes them
of,
so cool?
yeah, we do a lot of, we like to say entertainment media and emerging technologies. So the school was originally founded actually as a mobile audio production kind of training studio on wheels. Basically, we had a truck that would go around the country training people on using different audio equipment and editing, etc. But we've grown into just this massive, educational institution, everything from film and TV production to video game design, computer animation. And then the last several years, we've gotten into computer science, certainly AI, mobile development, wearables, a lot of emerging tech.
Well, Greg, we've already learned that you're blind. How have you felt working at Full Sail so far? even though you're blind?
It's been a really good experience, honestly. I feel like just because of kind of the technology, the programs that we have and everything that we offer, it kind of makes sense maybe in a way, not necessarily in every case, but we actually have a universal design committee that I've been really honored to be a part of.
That
And
is
so
fantastic.
so we have
Hey, let
folks
me know.
across
I'll join it too,
all.
dude. I'm just saying. But
Oh yeah,
it's so
I mean,
important that you mentioned universal design. That pretty much means
correct.
that you start a product out from the beginning to make it universally accessible for people. So when you came to Full Sail and where you are now with the 2 years, did you have to do much to get what you need, or was that quite a simple way of moving around at Full Sail?
Yeah, I will say it was fairly simple, fairly smooth. I mean, the first day that I, came to campus for my orientation, staff orientation, they had my laptop ready with JAWS preloaded. It was all set up. They're like, here's your laptop. Try to get familiar with the keyboard, the setup. Any help you need, let us know. I mean,
So
I was
that
impressed.
at that facility, are they typically a Windows camp or a JAWS or a Mac camp? Because I would
More
think
so Mac with the
Mac.
design aspect. Yeah, but they did
Okay.
offer me the option of a PC or a Mac. And I was like, you know what? I have used Macs in the past, but
Right.
have generally used PCs, of more recent times. So
So,
just my
what's your
experience with
position
JAWS.
there at Full Sail? What type of work do you do?
Yeah, so my title is senior copywriter. So people think, oh, copywriting, as in like getting a copyright, but it's no, it's
Hey, I
it's
got a
writing.
song, Greg.
Nope, can't help you. Sorry.
It's just making sure that what everybody else wrote is intelligible and looks good, right?
Right, pretty much. Yeah. So I write a lot of content, whether it's articles, content for different newsletters, social media, email marketing campaigns, essentially to promote, all of our programs and sometimes even different events. Get to interview a lot of our alumni that are just doing so many, cool things out there in the world. So it's a lot of different things. Every day is different, which I love. There's so much variety in my work.
Which universities did you go to or colleges did you go to, by the way? I didn't quite remember if you mentioned any of those.
Sure. So I started out at St. Petersburg College, SPC, we like to say for short. Once again, the acronym theme.
Yep.
And then I went to USF, University of South Florida, the St. Petersburg campus, which is right on the water there, right off
And
Pinellas
so
County.
would I guess your degree was communications?
Yeah, mass
Mass
communications
communications. Okay.
undergrad, and then I did get a master's in journalism too.
Fantastic, man. Because again, being blind doesn't mean you can't do what you do, right? You write, you shared ideas with people, you're making content, as you said, for people to absorb. Because again, we all have different walks of life. When you moved from, let's say, from Tampa to Orlando, was there any hardships that you might have come across visually or even with transportation, perhaps? Because again, you're in Tampa, you have transportation, don't get me wrong, but Orlando gives you 24 hours transportation. Plus, they give you, you have Uber, or Lyft, now even this thing called Waymo.
Yep, it's
That
here.
crazy thing called Waymo. We know about that.
Yeah, I know you guys know a thing or two. If you haven't, ladies and gentlemen, please go onto the channel, and you'll hear Greg and his guide, and of course Dave Hillebrandt, and they were actually a couple of the participants that got to try out the Waymo vehicle. So, you want to let us know your perspective there before we're going to be taking a break at the halfway point, but before we wrap up there, you want to let us know your experience of the Waymo, and then Dave later on after the break, we'll dive into more about that sports stuff that you do.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah. So I admit I was a little nervous. My guide dog Goldie, she's a golden doodle. She and I, were hopping in the Waymo with Dave, and I was like, "Am I doing the right thing? Is this thing going to crash? Are we going to get hit by another car?" All the thoughts go through your head. Any kind of new experience, I feel like it's normal, but
If you remember Back to the Future ride, it's just like the Back to the Future ride. Remember, you just sit in the car, it goes, and you go back home. That's all.
right, right. But yeah, honestly, I was blown away. I was extremely impressed with the technology, the safety, exceeded my expectations, no question. It was a little weird, kind of hearing the blinker going off, knowing a human finger did not push the blinker button to enable that.
What the what? I
And
thought
then
there's no one
just
in this car. Have you
right.
tried it out after you tried it at one time with Dave? Have you gone and downloaded the app and gave it a whirl?
I do have the app, yeah, but I have not had a chance to actually take a spin,
All
kind of
right, Dave and
officially.
Greg, I'm coming to see y'all soon, man. We can go down in a Waymo and go to Universal Studios. How about that?
Hey, we're both anxious to try it. I think both Greg and I live a little bit north of town, not by much, but they haven't mapped this area yet. But it won't be long, and we should be in your area. So I'm kind of excited to get to use that. But right now, I'd have to catch a ride into Orlando in order to catch the Waymo. So it didn't seem
That
practical, but
Yeah, and
we're
I definitely
close.
want to, sure, I wanted to mention too, just some of the challenges I've had with rideshare, having a service animal,
Please,
and
please. I know we were supposed to connect beginning of the year, and I remember you were getting ready to tell me a story that happened to you then. But yes, please let us know.
yeah, so I mean, I've had several denials, especially with Uber. Just, they see my dog, they pull away, or I text the driver about my dog, and then they cancel the ride shortly after, and it is extremely
Is
frustrating.
that
And I know
legal,
it's
Greg?
no, it's the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, protects those of us with our service animals, folks with disabilities in general, but including those with service animals, that we must be able to access, pretty much all public and a lot of private, businesses too. So they cannot deny us because of a service animal.
So have you had any times with Uber or Lyft or a cab where the driver has actually spoken to you, pulled up, and said that they would not take you and the dog?
Yeah, I've had a couple instances where they actually did,
Oh,
we
that
got
would
into
just
an argument and it just, yeah, my blood
yeah.
was
I don't know how
boiling.
I would react. I probably would go like you did. I would imagine. I wouldn't have been too happy about it.
Right. I mean, I try to keep my cool. I'm definitely not someone who gets super bent out of shape and, would start yelling or doing anything too crazy. But
So I'm going to sit
yeah,
in the back of this car until the cops come, and then we'll
So,
hash it
so
out. How
Greg,
about
after
that?
you've broken the baseball bat in half, after all your anger, I'm just kidding. What is your alternative? Seriously, what is your alternative? What can you send as a message to our ladies and gentlemen that are listening to us out here? And if they have a guide dog, what is your message to them to help them cope with situations like this? Or maybe they're brand new to getting a guide dog just last year. So what is your methodology or ways of coping with this?
yeah, I mean, there are definitely a few things you can do. There's no, at this point, really no perfect solution to this issue, but I definitely recommend, first off, you got to report any kind of violations, any kind of issues that you might be dealing with in terms of denials, whether you have a service animal or not. There've been a lot of cases, folks with like wheelchairs or walkers, or even just with a white cane, a lot of discrimination against folks with
Yes.
all disabilities. So definitely report to Uber or Lyft, whatever, or cab. I mean, any kind of provider that is denying you, report to the company. And then I also do recommend the ADA site. There's an ADA form essentially on the Department of Justice website. So if you just Google that, you should be able to find this form, and you can report any kind of discrimination, across the board
And be sure
on
to
there.
document by all
That's
means.
right.
So
Yeah, any kind of photos, videos, audio, screenshots, information about the driver, name, license plate number, model, make and model of car. I mean, anything that you can get through the app. Ideally, they say if you can actually have, video evidence, that's probably your best bet.
oh yeah.
We can't always get that, especially if we're
That,
blind or
I think that's excellent. They want a blind person to have video evidence of that's the only way we could deal with it, guys. If you have
right.
video evidence, we might be able to help you, but
Yeah, Mr.
otherwise,
Meta Ray-Ban glasses man. I
yeah,
mean,
That's right.
fortunately, thank goodness
thank you,
for
Greg, for
Ray-Bans.
at least allowing us to put. I mean, that's the other thing about permissions and things. But record if you can. Hit record on your recorder. Audio is better than nothing, because
Correct.
even for other elements of life. I mean, I'm going through it with my complex right now, but it is what it is. We just want to be equal, I think, is what I think ultimate bottom line is if you have a ride, you need to get to a place just as bad as anybody else. And a guide dog should not be an excuse that you do not give people a ride that are willing to pay you, first of all.
Our money's still good.
Our money is good
Yeah.
as yours.
Right.
Just saying.
It's like, and my guide dog's so beautiful. You don't want this beautiful dog.
I mean, I love your guide. Yeah, I want a golden doodle
in your
too,
car
man.
for
I love
15 minutes. It's not that long.
But it's just like them pulling up and you hear it. And then you hear a car backing out and leaving. Again, people that are totally blind, it's like, wait, what? So, again...
Yeah, and I've had that happen too, where literally, they come and it's like, I think they left, and then I can track through the app to see that they actually did leave without even saying anything.
Most deaf. Well, Greg, we're going to go on break to hear some words from our sponsors just for a moment. Hang in tight. We're going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Greg Lindberg, and he will be talking more about what he actually does. We just want to know what he was about from his past, but give us a moment and we'll find out what he really does with his sports and more to know. Stay tuned.
We all know the stories. A blind child can't get a Braille teacher. A blind student won't receive a textbook. A blind adult is barred from a dream career. It's a constant drumbeat of lost opportunities. It's time to change the music. The Cadence Tactile Graphics Tablet is a revolutionary refreshable display that enables users to access images, multiple lines of Braille, and interactive animation. A child can meet their Braille teacher online. A student can carry thousands of books in their pocket. An adult can draw charts, edit diagrams, and collaborate with coworkers in real time. Paint pictures. Play video games. Watch baseball. Create new content and send it out into the world. Learn and live at your own pace. March to your own rhythm. To learn more about the Cadence Tablet, visit cadencetablet.com.
Lynn, I'm looking for the lid to the container for the tuna fish. I want to put the tuna fish in the container, but I can't find the lids.
Michael, the lid is under the toaster oven.
Oh, Lynn, come on now. This is ridiculous. What a joke. Lynn, if you would have gotten Mr. Lid, their lids are attached to the containers. This wouldn't be happening, Lynn.
All right, Michael, I'll go to MrLid.com and we'll get organized.
Thank you.
Tired of losing the lids to food storage containers and cluttered cabinets? Well, Mr. Lid containers solve that with their unique attached lid design, making them easier to find, use, and organize. With sizes from half a cup to 1 gallon, they're stackable, food safe, and easy to clean, making your life easier. Get yours today at MrLid.com. Use code BEYOND15 for first-time customers. That's MrLid.com.
At the Carroll Center for the Blind, vision loss isn't the end, it's a new beginning. Since 1936, we have helped individuals of all ages build the skills, confidence, and independence to thrive in a sighted world. From technology training to mobility and career readiness, we don't just teach, we transform lives. Take charge of your vision loss journey. Visit carroll.org.
Coming back.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us again on the Blind and Beyond show. We are always trying to bring in guests that have quite a story, of course, and some of us are blind. Matter of fact, what a thought, huh, Dave? What a thought.
Go figure.
Go figure. So we were talking to our good friend Greg Lindberg. He is out of the Orlando area, and there's actually another whole other side to Greg that I would love for you guys to learn, and that is he also has his own show. It is called, well, I'll ask him. Greg, what's your show called?
Sure. So it's called Eyes Free Sports. So instead of like hands free, eyes free.
There you go. And I am subscribed too. In fact, I was listening to
What was that one more time? I was trying to write it down with my pencil. What was that called again?
Eyes Free Sports.
Eyes free. So I as the letter I.
No, actually EYES spelled
Oh.
out the word eyes. Yup.
Okay, so your eyes, like your eyeballs. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes,
Hey,
Eyes
get it right,
Free Sports Forecast.
That's a good.
See, don't
yeah,
listen to
that's a
me.
good,
Sometimes I'll try.
good
my
catch,
best to
Hershey.
spell. Yeah, eyes free. So EYES free FREE
Yup. And then sports.
sports. So what does that mean? Why did you name it that, and what is that all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've talked about just kind of, some different backgrounds with journalism and writing, etc. And then kind of my passion for beat baseball was kind of the first adaptive sport that I got to play for the blind. So those basically came together, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I do a podcast and actually interview folks and have, let them share their stories about playing sports, being athletic, even like recreational activities. Have even done some episodes on like video games or birding by ear, or, things that you might not think
what?
as
Birding
sports.
by ear. Hold
Well,
on.
there-
hold on.
there are even
Man, you
so
can't
many
just leave
sports
stuff
I
on the
didn't-
table, homie. I'm just saying that we don't know what these things mean. I'm just saying.
Even lots of sports I didn't even know that blind folks could do. Though I've heard on the show, and I think it's
I got an
amazing.
email the other day golfing. I wouldn't mind going golfing, blind golf.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
try like a little blind golf clinic at one point, but would love to play
really?
more.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it. I mean, we're in Central Florida. We have the best gators around here to bite you and some awesome
Actually,
grass.
the darts were the thing I thought was most amazing when I had heard on your show one time that they're a blind dart group, and I would love to have one of those blind dart boards that sounds off and stuff.
Have you heard about blind axe throwing?
Have not. No.
Sounds very dangerous.
I know people in Seattle that actually do blind axe throwing. So, I mean, we should consider
Wow.
it. They should be part of our sports, no? Why not?
They're also
I'd love to
known as
connect with them.
the one-armed blind axe throwers. Unfortunately,
Isn't that you holding a cane, Dave? What are you doing, man? You got to hold a cane in one hand and the
not
axe
that
in
there's
the other.
anything
Come
wrong with
on.
that, but it could be tragic with blind guy throwing an axe. I'm just saying.
But seriously,
True.
Greg, give us some more details about, so where can they find your podcast, and how long have you been doing it for?
Yeah, so I started back in 2019, shortly before the pandemic. So December of 2019 is when the first episode came out. I remember the pandemic hit, and I was like, "Oh, geez, am I going to still be able to do this? How is this going to affect,
I guess
my
6 years
conversations?"
birthday.
And yeah, it's been over 6 years. I can't believe, but just released episode 161 the other day.
Wow,
That's
congratulations.
incredible for
Thank you.
anybody, much less a blindness type. More of a specialty group. I mean, for anybody, though, over 160 episodes is pretty incredible. So, congratulations to you.
Dave,
I appreciate that.
160 minus 4. That's how many episodes? Sorry,
we-
we were just doing math here.
We got to
excuse
catch
me, I
up to you there,
apologize.
bud. But I will admit I have not listened to all 160 some odd, but I have listened to quite a few, and I must admit that one of the ones I listened to just last night I think was really caught me by surprise, because it wasn't as much sporting exactly, but I really was moved by the organization up there in Michigan.
Oh yeah, Opportunities Unlimited for the blind. That
Yeah,
does,
can
yeah,
you-
a lot of.
I know this is a little bit out of
We are
from our
the beyond.
discussion, but I would like you to cover just mention a little bit about what they do up there, and people, of course, people can always check out their website as well. But
Sure. Yeah. So I think it was started back in the 90s, this nonprofit, again, Opportunities Unlimited for the Blind, OUB, once again, the whole acronym theme here. But so yeah, they put on programs, camps, all kinds of different things for kids, usually between the ages of like 7 and 17. So not super youngsters, but those who are maybe big enough, old enough to be able to do things. They do a lot with like cooking, accessible cooking, getting the kids in the kitchen, using different tools, making food, making meals. They do different camps, outdoor camps, in Michigan and different parts of the Midwest. I know Gwen Botting, so she's the one I had on. She's the executive director, and she is just so passionate and really thinks outside the box with some of her ideas.
they even had people going ice fishing. I remember hearing,
That's right.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the first blind ice fishing trip I was aware of, so thought that was neat. And then she even teaches some kids to ride single bikes, who are totally blind. So obviously, most of us know about like tandem biking, where you
Tandem
have
bikes, yeah.
two folks on a bike together. But she's even getting some of these kids on their own bike and actually having someone else ride another bike, alongside them or in front of them or whatever. So really, she's kind of pushing the envelope when it comes to
Certainly.
what she's doing.
Tandems are
just-
cool, but I don't know about riding on my own. I don't know. I heard about that where people can, they click and
sound
determine where they
and all
are.
that.
But no, I think I'll pass on that.
Right.
I want to
right.
keep all of my bones working and together and all that stuff.
Amongst all
so.
those sports there, Greg, what is your favorite? You mentioned beep baseball was one of the sports. We talked about the tandem biking kind of situation here. Could you introduce the audience with more of the sports? I mean, what is beep baseball, or what are all these other names that we've been throwing around? Could you express some of these sports that some of our audience members might be interested to
And maybe
participate?
which one you like the best, but of course, mention some of the ones that you've been involved in would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So beat baseball, I would still, say is still near and dear to my heart, and even though I'm not playing quite as much. And so with
And the
beat
summation
baseball,
of that is a ball that beeps, and it's
That's
like
right.
softball.
yeah, they basically say it's like an oversized softball. It's a pretty hard ball. If you get hit with it, it's gonna hurt a little bit.
You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, but
Dave,
it has a
don't throw the
pin.
ball at me, okay? I am sorry, Dave. Carry on, sorry.
But yeah, basically there's a little pin that's in the ball. So as long as as long as the pin is in the ball,
Right.
then it's silent. But as soon as you pull out that pin, then it makes a constant beep, beep, beep sound.
Okay,
Can
okay,
drive
let's
you
flip the
nuts a
script.
little bit
We'll
if
go
you
to
listen to
hockey
that
real
for a
quick.
while.
Can hockey have something like that too?
So hockey, it's a pretty large puck and it has ball bearings inside of it, so it makes like a rattle sound. So I mean, if the puck does
Okay, so
stop,
you hear that,
it might be
that
hard to
rattle,
find,
rattle,
but
rattle.
usually, yeah, it is making some kind of sound. Yup.
Okay, so what about the sport that I used to play, basketball? Anything there for me?
I have heard, I think Australia
what,
recently
what?
was starting some kind of blind basketball
This is why we bring these
league.
guests. Sorry, carry on. We have basketball league that's for blind. What?
I think in Australia, yeah, I did read something maybe last year about it. So I believe the ball has bells inside of it, kind of like a goal ball, which some of you guys out there might be familiar with. And then I think they had some kind of sound output on
Hold
the
up, I'm
actual.
confused. There's a beep, 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 beep baseball.
Yeah,
What's with this goal ball guy? Who's that?
goal ball. Yeah, so GOAL ball. That's probably the most popular sport for the blind. It started back just after World War II, like for veterans, blind veterans and whatnot. So it has their their bells inside the ball, and then it's played 3-on-3 on a court, and you have a goal on either side. So you have to roll the ball into your opponent's goal, and everyone is blindfolded as well. And there's no actual goalie. It's literally 3-on-3. So you're,
Is that
as a team, you have to
similar to
line
like
up
a
your bodies to block it.
Is that similar to like a soccer, I guess, or football? For other European, is that kind of like soccer, football, kind of, or
Somewhat, but honestly, it's one of the few sports where it's like its own. There's really
own
no
thing?
equivalent. Yeah, It's its own thing, which makes it super unique.
Okay, so beep baseball, goal ball. There's hockey if you're interested in hockey. Basketball maybe in Australia, so go down under and ask
I'd
your
like
friend
I'd like to
borrow
see
one.
I'd like to see what the scores are for some of the blind
Right.
blind games. It would be just
3-point line
interesting.
all day, baby. I got you, Dave. Just pass
I
the
mean,
ball at the
I wouldn't
3-point line.
expect them to make as many goals, of course, but I bet you they would be. I bet the scores are going to be higher than I think anyway. So I'm going to check into that later.
Yeah, with goal ball, I've seen 10-5, 15-10. I mean, some of these they get up there into the double digits. Yeah. So,
Any sports that we've missed and that you think it's way more fascinating that my audience should know about?
I mean, tennis is one that I've gotten into pretty recently. So we had a blind tennis clinic here in Orlando last year, and hoping to play more. So the ball is similar size to an actual tennis ball, maybe a little bit bigger. Pretty soft ball. You think of traditionally a tennis ball as being kind of solid and hard. And so it has a ping pong ball inside of the blind tennis ball, and then actual rattles inside that ping
Wow.
pong ball. And so again, as long as that thing's moving, it's making a rattling sound so you can track it.
I don't know, Greg. I mean, in the morning we could, have a game of tennis, and then in the afternoon a little bit of golf, and then in the evening we'll take Waymo out to Universal Studios and some restaurants. What do you think? I think that's a good idea, Dave. You think that'll work out?
That would work. One other sport I wanted to mention too that I found in your typical neighborhood high schools, sighted high schools that blind people do and have participated in is wrestling. They have rules that are set up for sighted and blind folks to be able to wrestle against each other, and have been very successful in regular public school systems. So that's another one for the high school and college anyway that they've already established and been very successful with. So
Absolutely, yeah. And kind of related to that, obviously martial arts, judo, taekwondo, different things in that vein as well. Very kind of hands-on, tactile sports, you can kind of say. So certainly, as far as accessibility goes, definitely accessible to the blind community.
we have a little more of an advantage when it comes to some of those sports where you're in direct contact all the time. So
That's right. Yeah. I know we just had the Winter Paralympics, so skiing is definitely a big one out there, having that sighted guide in front of you.
have you ever skied before?
Have not. I would like to try, but just, being a Florida boy, have never
Okay, fine. Have
been
you
in the
surfed before?
Believe it or not, Brenda and I did go skiing up in North Carolina a number of years ago, and I didn't break any bones and didn't break anyone else's, luckily enough. And actually, the ski instructors were very cool, very excited. Didn't give them really any notice that I was coming, and they first had two instructors, and basically I held on to a pole so I get the feeling of going down the slope without the worry of having to be concerned about balance at first, and then after that I was able to go down on my own. So it was pretty cool. Definitely a sport that
nice.
There's a
I've
lot
heard
of
about, isn't there something with surfing? Literally, I know I said it as a joke, but it really isn't. I think there is people that actually surf that are blind too. Have you heard that before?
Definitely. Yeah. I don't think there are too many adaptations with that. I mean, maybe certain types of surfboards, might have, I don't know, different markings or things on them, but
Well, because markings, it's all about the grip and how you push against the water, I guess.
and
right?
that
The
is
ocean.
one sport where you literally the same as a sighted person, you are feeling the ocean, and as it pulls you out and all that kind of stuff, you can feel where it's going to break and things like that. So I could see how it could be a sport that you could blind person with a little bit of training could get pretty good at it.
For sure. Yeah.
I can break my neck as good as anybody,
Don't do that.
No, exactly. No, I want to keep everything working if I can. So, just getting off of sports just a little bit, and we'll certainly get back and mention your podcast again, because I think it really is excellent, and I've got it in my regular my regular rotations, right along with the Orlando Magic and a couple Florida Gators.
Ooh, all right. I'm honored.
I've got Greg Lindberg right up there.
And just go ask your speaker, Eyes Free Podcast.
The
Eyes Free Sports. Yep. Don't forget sports.
Yes, Eyes Free Sports. So I want to talk to you about music for a bit because
Sure.
I happen to know that you are a guitar player. In fact, I've had the pleasure of playing with you before. So I'd love to find out your passion with music. What groups or what you enjoy playing the most, and what you enjoy listening to the most, and kind of what got you started playing guitar.
Yeah. So I will mention I did play, I took piano lessons as a kid for a good 6 or 7 years and then got out of it. One of those things again, kind of kicking myself. I wish I would have stuck with it. Once I got to high school, life kind of gets busy.
I wish I had taken it myself. So I'm with you.
Right. Yeah. But again, was, not too long after discovering beat baseball, actually. I was like, you know what? I've always loved the sound of a guitar. I've always wanted to try playing. So my parents got me a guitar back in 2013 for Christmas. So one of the best gifts I've gotten, and took guitar
Keeps on
lessons
giving,
for a couple
right?
years. It does, yeah. And these instruments hold up if you take care of them for a long time. So, which is nice. Yep. And then I did take voice lessons there for about 2 years or so after the guitar lessons. But yeah, love to play, covers of anything from the Eagles to Jimmy Buffett, Bryan Adams, the Rolling Stones, more recently Maroon 5, Panic at the Disco, so pop stuff, rock stuff, Tom Petty, can't forget Tom Petty, one of my favorites. So just love
He's
singing,
a Florida
love jamming
boy,
out.
after all.
Gainesville, Florida, that's right.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Gainesville man.
Oh yeah, most famous thing aside from the university, or the Gators to come out of there. So,
So you primarily play acoustic guitar, is that right?
yeah, I do have an electric, the Stratocaster, but honestly do prefer my Fender acoustic.
Gotcha. When you're playing your Strat, what do you have a guitar amp?
I do. Yeah, it's also a Fender amp.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely a totally different approach and a different different feel of playing for an electric versus an acoustic. So I can see why you pick an acoustic for those particular groups you mentioned. It definitely lends itself a lot better, I think.
For sure. For that style. Yeah. And if I can just briefly mention too, this connection I've made with Scott McIntyre, so famous blind musician. He was on American Idol back in 2009, finished in the top 10. And so the last couple years, he started this program called Songsight, SONGSIGHT, for blind and visually impaired musicians, singers, just anyone involved, anyone who's musically inclined, getting them together. He's had a couple of retreats out in Arizona, out in the Phoenix area. And then we actually did our first concert last fall out in Phoenix, which was really neat. So that's just been such a great opportunity. Have met so many talented folks who are far more talented than I am. We've gotten to record some stuff. Again, we did the live concert, but just such a powerful thing that he's doing there.
Fine, Greg. Can you sing a chord real quick? Can you sing anything right now, real quick? Can we just hear what? This is a little example. I mean, you did one hardest for that.
Oh yeah,
No, that wouldn't be fair to
Just one
force him
note.
to do a cappella. Come on.
No, I mean, you don't have to, Greg. See, the reason why I bothered Greg like this, he is in real life a friend of mine. So we really do appreciate Greg for everything that you do, and you keep us all copacetic, meaning if there's something new, you at least let us know. So with your podcast, by letting us know about fishing or bike ride, there's lots of information to share there. You're also big in the Florida Council of the Blind / GOCB, Greater Orlando Council of the Blind. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And your positioning there, I remember you do activities, because I know we have a mutual friend that is part of the activities committee. And could you tell us just a brief bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been lucky enough to co-chair the Florida Council of the Blind Activities Committee for the last 2 years. And so we help plan both in-person and virtual events for FCB for our members. We've done all
And
kinds of
FCB
things.
stands for Florida Council of the Blind. If you guys are like, what are these guys, acronym day or
Oh
something?
my God!
That's right. Yo, but yeah, we've
Take
done
your
like game
notes,
nights.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yo.
Get your pen and paper out.
We've done like Family Feud, different game nights, trivia on Zoom, even in person at the conventions, the state conventions as well. We have done some open mic stuff. We've done a couple holiday concerts on Zoom at the convention this May. We're actually looking to do an open mic event on the first night of convention. So again, just trying to bring some fun and laughs and joy and maybe
Well, I hope
showcase
I
a
could
little
bring
bit
my
of talent.
ears at least for you. I don't know if I'm going to be miking it out like that. I'm just
Yeah.
Macarena,
Greg,
Macarena, Macarena. That's all you
I
get.
wonder, have you, for any of the GOCB or any of the other events like, groups like that, have you ever put together sporting things? Because I could picture it could be fun, a little competitive Olympic type thing, some tug of war, swimming, a few different little things in there. That could be a good time.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love to do that. I've never really had the opportunity to do something like that, but just to have like a variety of sports, kind of a sports showcase for the blind. Yeah,
I don't know if we
it's
can
on
get
my
all the
list.
GOCB guys and gals out there or not, but I don't know. I
We
think it'd
could
be
try.
fun trying. They don't have to be athletes to make it fun. It's
You don't have to be GOCB. I mean, just if you're blind and you're interested, come
right.
participate, come learn a couple new things from friends and family, and that's what all these conferences and conventions are about. And we missed Greg in October as well. I was in Orlando, and we didn't quite get to catch up, but it's always good, Greg. Again, I can't say thank you enough for agreeing upon to come onto the show. And sorry, I know the video aspects for some of us blind folks becomes a little bit more detrimental, but we love our audience out here, and sometimes people have sight, and we want to show you what we can and what we cannot do, I guess.
I'm told that Greg is looking good. That's the
I'm
word on
trying.
that's the
That's
word
the word
on
on
the
the streets,
street.
man.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, thank you guys so
exactly.
much. I know I've had the chance to be on the radio show many a time, but this is my first time here on the YouTube show, and you guys are
Yes.
doing a
Well,
great
you
job.
did
And
perfectly fine, buddy. Like, I know you was nervous. You're nervous, wreck. I was nervous, wreck, about video. Dave and I have gathered this whole show together, and like I said today, I looked at the thing. We have had 100 hours viewed, and that's just thank
wow,
you to all of you guys out there. That within the 4 weeks you have 100 hours viewed. That's to say something. Thank you to you and you and you and you and you out there, as Chris would do on the radio show. But no, literally, thank you. And for you too, Greg, thank you for coming aboard. And if I've missed something, what would you say if I've, with my questioning or Dave's questions, what's one thing that we've missed that you would like our audience to know?
oh man, that's a tough question. I mean, my guide dog, always love giving her a little plug, and I think I did briefly mention her. Goldie is her name.
Yes, and where did you get Goldie?
So she's from Freedom Guide Dogs, which is based out of New
Sweet.
York. But yeah, so she's a white golden doodle, and I like to say we're double G, Greg and Goldie.
Nice. And is this your first guide dog?
Second, technically, I did have one for just a couple of months. Unfortunately, that the match didn't work out.
Gotcha.
But we just celebrated our 4-year dog anniversary, Goldie and I. So
So
we're
I'm
going
still
strong.
learning.
Woof, woof, woof.
I know I got several friends with guide dogs, but I'm still learning. And every place is a little different how they train them. So I'm kind of interested. There with Freedom, how long do they train you and the dog together? I'm sure
Yeah,
they probably
it was
run
about
you
2
through
weeks.
run you through some crazy stuff up in New York.
Oh yeah, and see with Freedom, they actually just do the home placement, home training, so they will come to you, which is really nice.
Oh, sweet. That is
a lot of guide
nice.
dog schools have the campuses that you go to, the residential campuses, for a couple of weeks. But
Right.
with Freedom, they did come to me, yeah, which was really convenient. It's not for everybody, but it was about 2 weeks of training every day, and yeah, just all kinds
I
of
didn't
different
even know that
scenarios.
existed, as it was a possibility that they would come to you. That really could be
Yeah,
a huge game changer.
Right. Just being in your home environment or your community, wherever you frequent, office for work or restaurants or
Exactly.
whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely a nice kind of a newer, a newer approach to guide dog training, but has definitely been around now for a bit.
That sounds good. Well, I definitely know she's a sweetie. I did have the occasion to meet her with our wonderful Waymo ride, and boy, talk about it like we mentioned at the beginning of the show. It couldn't have been nicer, and certainly nice, smooth ride, and excellent
Definitely.
Dave,
representative.
if I might just say a little PSA real quick, Dave, real quick. If you do find a person that has a guide dog, a man or a woman, please don't go petting the dog. Their dog is not just a basic dog. It is a guide dog, as they say. It is a dog that has been trained with the person to let them know about, if there's any dangers, if there's curbs, etc. They don't know if the light is red or the light is green.
It's an employee on duty.
It's employee, exactly. So,
That's right.
Greg is gracious enough to even let us know what the dog's name is. If someone does not tell you the dog's name, please don't be offended. They're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to have safety. So a woman may not tell you the dog's name because you don't want some random person calling the dog's name and putting that woman in danger. Or a
Distracting
man
them
in danger. Right. So just to give you guys the reasoning of, when people have guide dogs, sometimes we have these little bickering things like we talked about the car situation with Uber and Lyft. There are reasons behind why people don't let you touch the dog while the dog is on harness. Then they'll remove the harness on the dog, and the dog gets to play. It's now off clock. So the dog is trained on those purposes to say, okay, you're not on harness. Now do you want to have your treat? And the dog will go nuts just like a puppy dog. But when they're
They
on
can
duty,
play and do all that
they will
stuff.
be as strict as you
Yep.
are and as stern as you are to make sure that you're not in danger. So just wanted to say that real quick. Thank you, Greg, for at least sharing what you have shared with us. But I think that's really important that people just don't go willy-nilly grabbing people's guide dog and then, putting them in danger.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you mentioning that. And oftentimes it's more so the adults than the kids. You'd think maybe the kids would be the ones trying to pet the dog, but more so it's the adults. So who knew?
Ooh, she's so pretty. Ooh, he's so pretty. Stop it. But Greg, thank you so much. I hope you will come back on air soon. It's been
our
a fun
pleasure,
1 hour. I know 1 hour flew by really quick. Don't want to
It
say
did.
goodbye, but
Yeah, wow.
you mentioned a couple things like goal ball and beep baseball and stuff, and our guest coming up soon mentioned that they might have some history there too. So I can't wait to go find out about our next guest, Mike. You're more than welcome to stay here, and if you have to go, I totally understand. But check us out on the Blind and Beyond Show YouTube channel. How do you get there? Go to youtube.com/Blind and Beyond Show. That way you'll find the live tab where you'll find all 3 to 4. This is the 4th week, so you'll find all those episodes. You'll find playlists that have all the episodes. If you just want to put in anything else in the comments, we are definitely looking at them. So we look forward to having any one of you on air. Next week, we have a couple new guests already lined up, I believe. So we're sorting that out. And in April, we're already going down to April. We have one guest sorted out so far. So if you're interested, please reach out to Dave and I. We're more than happy to get you hooked up here. But for now, Dave, I'm going to pass it back to you, sir.
Again, we want to thank Greg, and we'll be excited to bring our next guest here very shortly. My buddy Mike McGlashon from up in Illinois. So stay tuned after a word from our sponsors here.
For the blind. believes everyone deserves to live the life they want to live and to move through the world safely and confidently. That's why we offer a variety of programs at no cost to our clients. We match people who are blind or visually impaired in the U.S. and Canada with exceptional guide dogs. Guide Dogs for the Blind also provides a free orientation and mobility immersion program for people interested in learning the skills relevant to guide dog mobility. And our K9 Buddy program matches select dogs who are not suited to be guide dogs to be pets for people who are blind or visually impaired, including children and their families and adults of all ages. All of this is made possible by our generous donors and the help of thousands of incredible volunteers. To learn more about our life-changing mission, please visit guidedogs.com or call 800-295-4050.
There's so many days where I just want to pretend I'm not going blind, and I can't. With retinitis pigmentosa, the unknown is everlasting. What I want most is to stop this in its tracks. It all really boils down to my family, seeing my beautiful wife, seeing my kids. If only I could have more time. My hope here with the Foundation Fighting Blindness is to drive towards a cure. Donate now or get involved at fightingblindness.org.
Figuring out what comes next can feel uncertain, especially for teens and young adults who are blind or have low vision. At New View, Oklahoma, our Navigate Transition program helps young people move confidently into the next chapter after high school, whether college, career, or both. Navigate builds independence, skills, and self-confidence for what comes next. Through this immersive 2-week experience, young adults learn alongside peers while practicing real-world skills like financial management, meal preparation, assistive technology, orientation and mobility, and navigating the community. Participants also explore careers, build resumes, practice interviews, connect with professionals, and experience job shadows. Spots are limited and the program is offered at no cost. Learn more at newviewoklahoma.org. That's newviewoklahoma.org.
We're back. Hour number 2.
Let's go.
Blind and Beyond.
Blind and Beyond.
It's the Blind and Beyond Show.
With Harshid Trivedi
and Dave Hillebrandt.
They'll be talking to all kinds of interesting people in the blindness community and beyond. I wonder where they could be. Let's check on them now.
We are
back.
It.
I love it. Some jam sessions for this nice rainy little evening that we got here in Central Florida. But welcome back. Welcome back to the Blind and Beyond show. I am one of your hosts, Hershey Barr, otherwise known as the Blind Accessible Resource, Harshid Trivedi, and I have my good friend here with me, friend Dave. Ooh, he's busy. So we are going to take a journey to the Midwest or to Central Time Zone here soon. And that's just a little loving on that guitar that Dave gets to give to our audience. I know we in the comments got, hey, more music, more Dave. That's more Dave right there. We'll bring in more music next week, I think. I hope.
Why not?
Why not?
I think we can.
We can. I think we can too. But Dave, if you wouldn't mind, I haven't met your friend, but I've talked to your friend earlier in the pre-show, and sounds like an amazing person. So, who do we have on guests today?
You were about to meet him. A good friend of mine. And how did I meet him? By amateur radio, actually on Morse Code, originally from Illinois. My buddy Mike McGlashon. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correct there, Mike. And I think Mike may have to unmute himself, but glad to have you with us, my friend. And as soon as we get you unmuted there, you have to say hello to the... There you go.
Hello.
There you are. You're live and in color there, Mike.
Yeah, well, don't mention that. The Confederacy might get jealous.
There you go. Did I get your last name right?
No, you did. You done good, brother. You done really good.
And where in Illinois are you?
I am in a place called Newton, Illinois, which is about for 20 miles. I would say 25 miles south of I-70. And let's see, I'm facing south right now. So if I go east over here, that's Indianapolis by about 100 miles or a couple of 100 miles. And over here west is St. Louis. I'm pretty much right in between them, but south of I-70 by about 20, I would say 20, for purposes of argument, 25 miles south of I-70. And man, we got some weather, baby. Ooh, we were rocking last night, tornadoes here and there and everywhere.
Oh, man. We actually had tornado warnings down here, not probably a good 40 miles away or so to our west, but we had some wild weather too. We were hoping for some rain, and we were doing the mighty rain dance, and we got it yesterday and today.
So yeah, I lost my vertical, my ground mounted vertical. She did tip over, which I wasn't surprised. And I just said, I'll leave her dead in the water until the storms pass. I got the long wire. We'll just leave her die and we'll wake her up tomorrow. But she's laying in the yard, you know.
So I don't know if I mentioned to you, Mike, but Hershey over there in Daytona, my co-host buddy, he's also a ham and just recently got his ticket. So
yes, indeed, I got my ticket.
What you got, man?
I got my technicians.
General extra what?
I got my technicians last November, and I'm taking classes right now to work on the general, and then we'll try to wrap it around with amateur extra while we're at it. And so I'm using Gordon West's book currently. And then we're also, Dave and I have been downloading iOS apps to just kind of study, as we did for technicians. And then Ham Radio Prep is the other website that I'm utilizing to study the material.
So why did you get into ham radio in the first place, brother?
For me personally was that, for one, I live in Florida, meaning that hurricanes are prevalent out here. Dave has been a ham for quite some time, since he was 10 years old, as he has said. But
at least 100 years ago.
It always intrigued me that why can I not just go ahead and get my license? So the Elmers as such that are out here, I went to one field day last year, and from that field day just became a brotherhood of people. Like, hey, why don't you come to class, and we'll help you figure out the book. We'll give you the radios. We'll get you the stuff you need. And right now I'm using a Radtail, which has just a speech of letting me know what channel things are on.
And for everyone who doesn't know, that Radtail's it's a handheld unit for
right. I'm pulling it up right here.
Talking locally primarily, but it's a neat little device.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that.
It doesn't have that much speech, but as I can't wait to ask you more questions, because you have like the GD77, you have blind hams, handy hams, all of these groups that I'm actually learning more about.
Hey, by the way, I have beat ball too.
And in the
yes. Game for 38 years. I'm in the Beat Ball Hall of Fame. I've won and lost the World Series title.
Holy cow!
If anybody wants to know about beat ball, I can probably tell you.
Well, I definitely want to know about that, but let's go back a little bit further, and so we can kind of build up to that point. So, First of all, you're born in Illinois? Is that correct?
No, that's not true. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually given, and I think I could tell you this story. I was actually given up as a baby, and a family in Rochester, New York, adopted me when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. My biological mother, who I've since met in when the hell did I meet her? 2015, I met Mom, my biological mom. And she told me, she said flat out, she said, you know why you hurt so bad? Because you used a cane to figure out how to get out of there.
Wow. Oh, geez, that's a little harsh, but
hey, I love the sport. When we were in West Palm Beach playing beat ball down there for the World Series in 2017, I got inducted to the Beat Ball Hall of Fame, and Mom was there, Coach was there, and it was really special. I didn't know. I was in the summer school of law school at that time, and they said, you got to come down here. Coach wants to see you. There's a ticket at the airport. And there was. And I had to tell my law school, hey, man, I took my final exam in summer school, in law school, on an airplane coming back from that. And if I didn't pass it, I would have never got in. But because I was 40,000 feet above the horizon with wings under me, they actually let me into Indiana University Law School that year.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Wow.
whatever works.
Amen.
Well,
Yeah.
So I want to know about the younger Mike, and then we'll move up a little to more recent. But so tell me about your eyesight. Do you see anything at all? And have you had the vision condition all your life, or give me a little history on that, if you would.
I'll just clear it up, man. I ain't no half breed. I've been blind all day, every day, since I was born. Never missed a day.
Gotcha.
I'm as blind could be. Now, I heard, is it Greg Lindberg?
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Yeah.
He started out with RP, and I identified you. You probably saw it. Well, maybe you didn't. I was waving hands around the room and shaking my head because back in that day, they did that a lot. They diagnosed us with RP, and then later, somewhere down the line, they had LCA, and they, I didn't have RP really because I never had any sight to begin with, although I rode bikes. I rode two-wheeler bikes, and I never rode a tandem until I was a teenager. But by then, I rode a two-wheeler bike since I was 5 years old, and I hit cars, telephone poles, mailboxes, people, anything that would be in my way. And until I went through an apartment window, Dad said, "No, you got to give up the bike. Now you're costing me money, boy."
And you're still living to talk about it. Huh?
Yeah, you can't ride a bike by yourself unless there's somebody with you. Now,
so your adopted parents, though, they're obviously very supportive of you doing what you wanted to do.
Absolutely. Like my mother says, my adopted mother, she said, "Look, when they gave you to us, first of all, you were a foster child, and you didn't respond to nothing, only applesauce. And you were 3 years old. I had no stimuli, no nothing."
Well, who doesn't like applesauce?
But they forgot to give you the manual. Yes, she said they forgot to give me the manual. And I had 6 children of my own by then, she said. And I didn't know any different. I just had to treat you like the other children because nobody gave me instructions how to raise a blind boy.
Yeah, nobody gets instructions, unfortunately.
Right? And I'm so great. Now, like in 1973, Mom let me go. Mom and Dad, I remember the argument they had. Dad was like, "Yeah, let him go." Mom's like, "I don't know." In 1973, I think it was 1973, 1974, you guys were talking about skiing. I was the youngest blind skier in the United States. And I was skiing at that time over about 70, 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
So
with,
cool.
With a guide behind me,
yeah.
Telling me which way to go, left, right. I think I can find that article if you guys want it. Mom has it, I think.
We'll definitely.
But, yeah,
we could always put it
time
in the
I was
comments for
young,
people to read.
Totally blind skier in the United States.
I would love to read it because that was back before they had a lot of organized. Because now they do have a number of blind skiers and some great programs. A big one is out in Utah, I think, that they have a lot of blind skiers that go out there every year. But your particular skiing experience, was that an organized deal, or was that like a friend or something just helped you to ski?
It was a little bit of both. Now, I will say this. There's a caveat to that. I had to pay a price. I think when I was 7, so it would have been 75, I got a little bit ahead of the guide because we didn't have audio or anything like that. He just
No
told us where to
Bluetooth
go.
headsets or...
Right, none of that. And I got a little bit ahead of it, a little too fast. And I hit a snow machine doing, I think it was about 70, 75 miles an hour. I woke up 6 days later with a new lease on life.
Wow. Now,
and I've never regretted. I went out and back and did it again the next year.
Now, Mike, I'm not picking on you, but it sounds like you hit quite a few things in your time,
dude. Yeah. And so if my memory ain't good, you guys know why.
Exactly. You've got a good excuse.
My head's been banged around a little bit. Yeah, I got it.
I thought it might have something to do with the partying in college, but
that could. Yeah, absolutely. That didn't hurt the cause of it.
Exactly, or it didn't help either. But But it
I thought it did, man. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be around no more.
Well, it did help us get through it anyway. That's the main
right.
thing.
Yes, sir.
So, but one of the things, like I've told our listening audience, I originally met you on ham radio, but one of the very first things that really impressed me was the fact that not that you had a job, but a job that you basically got yourself that would not be a traditional job, just because you went out there and just you're the kind of guy that just goes for it, and I think that the fact that your parents were so encouraging. So I met you when you were washing dishes at a bowling alley, and
that's right.
And tell me how you got that job initially.
Well, it's funny because I went to law school and I actually got a law degree simply because I knew how to follow directions. But then when you went to take the bar, you had to actually know something. And that's when the crap hit the fan and I realized I don't know anything. I took it 3 times, bombed it all 3 times. And a lady named Miss Donna and Mr. Rob. Miss Donna was a nurse practitioner. Mr. Rob worked at a piping plant as a foreman. And then they decided they were husband and wife. They bought the bowling alley. And then I went to Mom because she was friends with my wife. And I said, man, I am really struggling. I took the bar 3 times and I can't study anymore. I'm tired of sitting in front of a computer. I need to have something, please, that I don't have to use my brain no more. I'm tired of thinking. I'd rather start drinking than thinking. And she said, all right, I'll tell you what. She goes, you know what? Hey, man, now you can't drink on the job, but I'll tell you what, you can come in here for 30 days. Let's see if you like dishes. If you like them and we like you and you like 30 days, we'll go for it and see how it goes. Well, 3 years later, Mama passed away because she had some sort of cancer. She passed away and the 30 days never ran out. Well, a year later, this past January, we had to shut down. Mr. Rob had other things he wanted to do. And so he closed the business. And then I went without a job for about 2 months almost. Because now I work at a place called BJ's Bar and Grill, and then new people bought the bowling alley, so I get to go back and work there. So I went from no jobs back to 2, doing what I know how to do in the kitchen is wash dishes.
Now tell me something. Obviously, washing dishes for a commercial, a restaurant or a bar is a lot different than washing dishes at your house. I mean, I've got experience from washing my own dishes and tossing them in the dishwasher, but. Was it
dishwasher?
Yeah. Was it scary picking up something like that, a new skill? And obviously, I'm sure you had to make some modifications because you could probably get hurt pretty badly if you're not careful.
Actually, no, it wasn't scary. I was pleasantly surprised by the people because I had two goals, and I told everybody that would listen, anybody, the kitchen help, the waitresses, everybody. When I first started, I said, I got two goals here. One, to make sure that the dishes are as clean and as fast as possible so you can reuse them again. But the more important one was, if you're on my shift, man, you're going to have a good time. I'm going to make sure of it because I want to have a good time. And as long as I'm having a good time, I know you're having one. And what happened was those people were really good about teaching me. Hey, and I would hold stuff up. Hey, where does this go? Oh, come here, I'll show you. And they'd show me, and I would remember. They were really good about that. Really, really good about that, because I made them feel included in my world. And because I made them included in my world, they were okay with letting me into theirs. And once that happened, the light bulb went on, and there wasn't nothing we couldn't do.
And obviously, you're very open and have no problem expressing yourself. But I think that the humor has got to play a part in getting people's defenses down and accepting you right off the bat as just the average guy, right?
Absolutely, dude. You know, many times like I would tell the cooks, I said, man, you guys should be good enough to close your eyes. I remember one time there was a lady, a waitress, because I had to go out and get my tubs of dishes. And these things weighed about 50, 60 pounds a piece.
Oh, man.
And I'd go out and I'd grab these tubs, and the waitresses would beat her. And there was one lady she just said, dude, I don't know what you're doing here, but you know, I think you're really faking it. I don't think you're blind. And I said, wait a minute. What do you mean? Yeah, I'm not stupid. I think you're pretending. Well, here's the kicker, Dave. I really got.
It turns out she was stupid, actually.
No, it wasn't. She couldn't be, because she wasn't there the next week when I wore the blindfold.
There you go.
I didn't know she wasn't going to be there, but I wore the blindfold, and the customer saw it. He said, why is that guy wearing a blindfold? And the waitress says, well, because we have one lady who's not here that doesn't think he's blind. And I mean, dude, think about it, man. I'm totally blind already. What the hell's a blindfold going on? It's like playing beat ball.
Exactly.
Everybody in beat ball has to wear a blindfold, no matter how sighted you are or not. So there's no issue with vision or nothing. Everybody's totally blind. And so I wore this thing to work one day, and I said, hey, this is easy picking, you guys.
You know,
and then I know the lady wasn't there.
It would have been interesting if you could have got the cook or some of the other staff to have taken your dare and gone blindfolded too. You know,
it also would have been a very bad case of liability, dude.
Well, yeah,
lots of bad things would happen, because I thought about that. Like,
having a blind cook, you could imagine that somebody might not take it well. So.
Not to mention the dangers that go with it. Man, talk about, oh, let me grab this hamburger. Oh, it's time to put my hands in the deep fryer.
Yeah, it's
a little different than washing dishes, brother.
Now, I've got a son who's worked in restaurants in the kitchen quite a bit, and he's taken on some major burns, and he can see just fine. So people walk right into you, and you know. It can get a little crowded there in the kitchen. So
I will say this, though, Dave. I will say that one thing that me and the kitchen's people who've been with me, we've learned, and it includes BJ's where I work now, communication and noise is the key.
Yes.
A, because I can't see nothing. I want to know where you guys are. B, because your back is turned toward me, and you don't know whether I got a stack of dishes or not. And instead of you having to turn back and look, just make noise.
Right. And there are people that are sighted can might step backwards and not even think about it. And, you know, all of a sudden you got it.
So we need to make noise, right? Noise is king, man.
And like you say, communicate, you know.
Yeah. That's right, man. When you're working an industrial submarine like that, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, tell you, we definitely want to. I want to talk about your.
Yeah, we didn't come here to talk about dishes, did we?
No, I want to talk about your famous beat ball escapades, but also about ham radio and some other stuff too. So no, we're covering everything, because you're an interesting guy, and there's no reason to let let anything lie. So,
Well, it can't be that interesting. I ain't made it to America's Most Wanted yet.
Well, there's
And
time.
there ain't no picture of the post office of me on there.
You're still young.
Yeah, that's right. Give me time, dude. I got this.
Someone did say they saw you on a milk carton, but it was next to Elsie, and it was a chocolate milk. So you're probably okay.
I was found. The milk carton program works great. Look, see, I was found.
It's true.
Uh-oh.
And
Did we go to commercial or no?
You hear that music?
Yeah.
Yep, that means that there's.
Uh-oh, is that bad?
Oh no.
Did I say something out of bounds?
Not at all. There is nothing out of bounds. This is Blind and Beyond, so nothing is out of bounds.
Right. There we go. Hit the button by accident. Some cool guitar there, brother. Are we live? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
we
we're
can
live,
hear you.
and we're just we're taking a little breather.
We're about to go off to commercials.
Oh, so just a little
maybe I
commercials.
should have been quiet. You guys, I never. been
You're
on
fine.
one.
You should make noise, Mike. It's okay, Mike. We know that you're here, so you're fine, buddy. Make noise, as we say. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. And thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
When you're out of slits, you're out of beer.
A blind child can't get a braille teacher.
And we'll be
A
right
blind
back.
student won't receive a textbook. A blind adult is barred from a dream career. It's a constant drumbeat of lost opportunities.
Hey, can you guys hear
It's
me?
time to change the music.
Yes.
The Cadence Tactile Graphics Tablet is a revolutionary refreshable display that enables users to access images, multiple lines of braille, and interactive animation. A child can meet their braille teacher online. A student can carry thousands of books in their pocket. An adult can draw charts, edit diagrams, and collaborate with coworkers in real time. Paint pictures. Play video games. Watch baseball. Create new content and send it out into the world. Learn and live at your own pace. March to your own rhythm. To learn more about the Cadence Tablet, visit cadencetablet.com.
Lynn, I'm looking for the lid to the container for the tuna fish. I want to put the tuna fish in the container, but I can't find the lids.
Michael, the lid is under the toaster oven.
Oh, Lynn, come on now. This is ridiculous. What a joke. Lynn, if you would have gotten Mr. Lid, their lids are attached to the containers. This wouldn't be happening, Lynn.
All right, Michael, I'll go to MrLid.com and we'll get organized.
Thank you.
Who is she? Who is that broad?
Tired of losing the lids to food storage containers and cluttered cabinets? Well, Mr. Lid containers solve that with their unique attached lid design, making them easier to find, use, and organize. With sizes from half a cup to 1 gallon, they're stackable, food safe, and easy to clean, making your life easier. Get yours today at MrLid.com. Use code BEYOND15 for first-time customers. That's MrLid.com.
At the Carroll Center for the Blind, vision loss isn't the end, it's a new beginning. Since 1936, we have helped individuals of all ages build the skills, confidence, and independence to thrive in a sighted world. From technology training to mobility and career readiness, we don't just teach, we transform lives. Take charge of your vision loss journey. Visit carroll.org.
We're back. We are back. This is the Blind and Beyond show here on YouTube.
Good evening, good evening. Yes, indeed. My name is Hershey. I have Dave here, my co-host, and so welcome to everybody that's joined us here for the second hour of the Blind and Beyond show. We're on every Monday starting at 7 o'clock. We typically have two guests that show up, and this evening we have Mike from Illinois joining us. And Dave, we were diving into some cool things, and I was taking notes, learning a lot of things, and which way do we go? Do we go into the ham radio stuff, or do we go into?
I want to first talk a little bit about Mike's involvement in beatball and in possibly other sports, because he's won and lost World Series. We know that. So, if you would tell me what got you into beat baseball, and tell us a little bit about that. Maybe what other accessible sports you've gotten into where you didn't have to run into walls or anything.
And Dave, we're just gonna ask our guest if you wanted to hit unmute on your end, please, Mike.
There you go.
You are. You're clear.
You're good to go.
So, what was Dave's question? What sports? If you ask the question again, Dave.
Just wondering what sports you got involved in, accessible sports. And, well, first of all, what made you get into beat baseball? And tell us a little bit about that, first of all.
Oh, my.
where you've made, where you're world famous. So.
Well, I, in 1988, there was a lady, I was in the penitentiary in 1988 for a crime that I committed. And I've been there for 3.5 years. I was supposed to do 7 to 21 years. But I got a 3.5 year where I could apply for parole. And the lady who was part of the penitentiary, I was up in Auburn, New York. And she asked me, because I'd never met her before. We were getting ready for the parole hearing. And of course, this lady's going to try to come in 20 minutes beforehand and try to find out all about me, right? And she said, what do you like to do? And I said, I love baseball. I listened to baseball when I was a kid with a transistor radio under my pillow. I says, I've been in here for 3.5 years and I ain't seen a baseball game. And I want to be involved in baseball. And she said, okay. She said, but let me ask you something. What if I told you that there was a way that you could play blind baseball? And I was like, I pretty much, I can't use the words that I said to her.
I can imagine what they were
but
right off the bat.
It was not pretty, and it was, you are a liar, and you're an idiot, and you're a government lady, and you're in the penitentiary.
Right.
You don't know that. What do you mean blind people can play baseball? And she said, oh, no. She said, oh, no, I know people. Now, you got to remember, Auburn's near Ithaca, New York, and that's where there was a blind baseball team for an organization called Shot in the Dark. And her name was Jane Hauser. And she's now since moved to Texas or whatever. But back then, she was a Quaker, believe it or not, who lived up there in Ithaca with a bunch of them Quaker people that lived up there. And she was a social worker. She wasn't a parole officer, but she was a social worker at the penitentiary. And she got me in touch with these people from Shot in the Dark. And I didn't have any place to live. I mean, the day I got out of the joint, I went and bought a fifth of Hennessy at the liquor store, and I sat down on the curb, and it was a raining day waiting for the bus. And this old lady come up to me. She must have been a nun or something. And she sat down next to me and she said, sir, I'm so sorry for your misfortune. I said, Princess. And of course, this lady's 90 years old and I'm a blind guy. And I said, Princess, you don't know how beautiful it is for me to sit on this curb, drink this Hennessy and feel this rain. But the lady from the bus station come and picked me up. And she took me to the Shot in the Dark. They got me a house with a guy to stay with. And I went to beat ball. And I mean, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I hit the ball and I ran to the bags and I realized now my thing was with beep ball when I first started, I didn't know you didn't need to throw it first. You just pick up the ball. If you picked up the ball before the guy got to the bag, he was out. If he got to the bag first, which was only first or third, with no second, because that's where all the defenders were. And as a hitter, you didn't know what bag that was going to go on. You'd hit it, and you'd run to that bag. Well, I would pick up the ball, and I'd whip it to the bag that was beeping because I thought that's where you had to throw to get the guy out. And it took a minute for me to get out of that because I would come up a chucking, man.
It would have been nice if they gave you the directions, the rules first.
Oh,
you know?
and you know what? And beep ball, I've been in it ever since, man. I loved it that I could hit and run and catch balls, man. I really loved to catch balls. I was really a ball hog.
Are you still playing it all?
Well, I do. I'm a part-timer now. I mean, they gave me the retirement pension, such as it is. And I get 2 or 3, 4 innings a year at a World Series.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, no, I love the game. I'm more or less a coach if I'm not playing, and I teach the boys how to, do things that they need to do. And beep ball is in my blood, man.
So I think we can safely say that after getting out of the penitentiary and hooking up with beep baseball, that kind of changed your life, didn't it?
Oh, it didn't it did. It taught me how to be a human being. And here's something else it taught me, and I said this at my Hall of Fame speech, and I still mean it today. Beep baseball is the only sport or the only event, I'll even say event, in life that requires, not asks, or, question. It requires the sighted and blind to work together because, look, in beep ball, the pitcher is on your own team. He wants you to hit the ball. So you and your pitcher and catcher are on the same team. There's a cadence, set, ready ball. And the spotters, when you're in the field, there's 2 of them. They have center zones from 1 to 6, and they call a number, and that's all they can call. But if, it requires for you to win a title in beep baseball, it demands the cooperation between sighted and blind. And I said, there ain't no government agency, no legislative bill, no judge from here to Iona that can require it the way beep ball does. So I think we're very superior to everybody else.
And I would imagine timing probably has an awful lot to do with it too.
Sure. It's funny you say that because when I first went to Chicago in '92, I've been on 11 different beep ball teams throughout my career. And one of the ones I came to, which is the year that we lost the finals to Austin Blackhawk, because I was with the Chicago Cobras at the team. But when we went in January to the building, these kids were 16, 18 years old, and they were pitchers, and they're reckless. So what do? They don't pitch us a beep ball. They pitch us a golf ball. Now, they're on my team, and the timing is perfect when I could hit it right back through the pitcher's eyes. Thank God that I missed that day, because if I'd have hit that young man in between his eyes with a golf ball, well, he wouldn't be with us today.
Yeah, you might have been going back to the
penitentiary. No, I wouldn't have done that because I was legal in what I was doing. Don't even go there.
Right. No, but
the point is, these guys are so crazy. These pitchers who stand 20 feet away, they got a guy who's 200 pounds. I'm only $160, whatever. But you got guys 6'7", 255, and they're hitting it from 20 feet away, dude. It's crazy. These pitchers in beep ball, they're a different kind of breed. That's all I can say.
It sounds like they've got to have nerves of steel anyway. So what other accessible sports have you gotten into, if any?
I don't know what an accessible sport is. Skiing isn't accessible. I did that.
Well,
I did water skiing. Ski. That ain't accessible.
Yeah, those pretty much you just would handle the sport like anybody else. I would assume.
Show me what to do and what you want me to do, and I got it.
Exactly.
Because my brothers were all athletes, right? They played lacrosse. They played football. I think one of them played baseball.
Right.
So yeah, sports and banging each other around in the neighborhood was a common thing.
Right down here in Florida, of course, a lot of the water sports are those kind of things, and so I experienced the same deal with with swimming and skiing and stuff. You just once they teach you
swimming's work, dude. I don't like swimming.
Yeah,
I don't like swimming. I actually got to do the work.
Yeah.
But water skiing and skiing are not. I don't have to
I don't know that b-ball seems like a lot of work to me. So
it's a very physical, enduring, especially when you play 4 or 5 games a day.
Now, Mike, we are friends, and I do want to talk about ham radio here in just a second.
Yeah, I'm just curious over here myself, Dave. I'm like, hey, I wonder what kind of ham radio he has. How long have you been in the ham industry?
But you've opened the door, and I'm gonna just step right in because I know you're an open guy and you're willing. So I'm not gonna belabor the point, but you did mention that you had spent time in prison, and I did not know. I've never known anyone that was blind that has been in prison. And it has crossed my mind. I mean, many times, how in the world do they handle working with you? Like for example, going to different places and whatnot. Do you find that other inmates were helpful, or did you have to rely on help from the workers there, or what? I know it sounds like a crazy question, but I really have no idea how they would handle, and I would think that they would try to avoid at all costs having a blind person, but then that can't happen all the time, of course. So,
well, that's true, and I'm going to tell you in one word, all of it. Well, I guess that's 3 words. All of it. When I first went, I went to, I think it was Elmira. It was a reception center there. And back then they didn't have a lot of rules for how to deal with this stuff. But when you do the things that I had been convicted of doing in my young days, when I was 17, 16.
Oh, we've all done some crazy stuff. So don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'm not judging. Trust me.
No, I get that, but I had to go. The judge said, "No, you can't just go home.
You're going.
You got to spend some time with us, pal."
Right.
And so I went to the reception place in Elmira, and I was only supposed to be there for 30 days. I ended up staying there, and when you go there, you stay in solitary confinement, because they're trying to evaluate you for which prison and what block you're going to go into.
Sure.
And you want to put you in with guys that are similar situated disability, similar situated crimes, that type of thing. Remember, man, this is 1985.
Right.
Well, it's 40 years ago. I don't know what the hell they do now, thank God. Because if I did, I'd been there.
Exactly.
Right. So we don't want that. But, and I spent 184 days in there.
That was enough, right?
It's a lot. And I think it has done things to, change the way I do things. It's definitely made an impact on my life.
It's going to affect anybody, I'm sure.
Many good ways and some bad ways.
But so how did you get around prison? Because obviously they don't give you lots of mobility time to get familiarized. So does someone show you around?
I don't need a cane in prison as long as I got a screw.
Right.
If I got a screw, I don't need a cane because I ain't going nowhere without one.
No, I imagine that is true.
I mean, they hook you up. They give you, you don't need a cane.
Right.
You can't have one anyway.
Well, that's true. That
so if you want to go to the yard, they're going to hook you up.
Gotcha.
But you know what was cool? Because I got my license in 1976, my ham radio light. Let's go into ham radio.
Yeah.
Because this is big, right? I went into I got my license in 1976. K2MEO was my original call. I was 8 years old. I lived in Rochester, New York, where the snow really blows.
Right.
And we get a lot of thousands of feet. And I got my license. And I back then we were novices. The only thing we got was CW. Didn't have cell phones, didn't have internet. Nothing like that. If I wanted to talk to anybody, I had to get on the radio and turn.
Yeah, and CW for everyone is Morse code, just so you know.
Oh, yeah,
and a lot of us choose that as a way to communicate. You can use a microphone, a computer, but a lot of us choose Morse code, and there's thousands of hams that do that around the world, right? So sorry to interrupt, but continue there, Sir Mike. Oop, I think Mike has gone somewhere. Are you still there with me, Hirsch?
I'm still here. Let's see if we...
There you are.
Wait, no, I was trying to show you what it sounded like.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, we could hear now. Go ahead.
That's Morse code, and I'm using a 1980 standard Vibroplex buck. Most people don't know what that is, but Dave can fill you in on that.
It's a mechanical device that's used to send
the one
Morse
that doesn't
code,
break.
which is very, very cool. So, yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
I did.
We did.
Okay,
yes,
good. I don't have to do it again.
So at 8 years old, you were certainly a rare beast. I got my ticket when I was 10, and I thought that was young. So, what got you interested?
Dave, you got someone to beat you, right?
There you go. Well, there are a number. Someone was telling me about a 9-year-old that got his extra here recently. So I thought
I wasn't that good.
Really amazing, but
hell no, I didn't get my extra until I was like 40.
I was lucky to get my novice starting off. So what got you started in that? Was there a particular person, or what made you interested in ham radio?
There really was. There was a guy. There were two guys actually named John Cosbeth and Ron Roach. Ron Roach was the assistant principal of the elementary school I went to at that time, and John Cosbeth was a guidance counselor. And I don't know how I got in. They had a shack at the school back then.
Oh, nice.
This is when lots of schools had them. And they had this, and there was noise in there. And I walked by, I think I was going to the office to get reprimanded by the principal. And I heard the noise.
Mike. Come on.
Yeah, geez, imagine that. And I heard the noise and I stopped. And I went in there. I was like, man, screw that principal, man. What is this? And so I went in there, and these two guys were in there hooking up stuff. And, hey, buddy. And I was like, what is that noise? And these guys were good. They said, if you can learn that noise, you can learn to work the world on 1 watt. Now, of course, I didn't know what a watt was, but it had to be little because it was 1.
1 watt.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that was an achievement.
I could talk to the world on this. Wow, my dad would love me. We don't have any long distance phone calls to girlfriends or anything.
And certainly before the internet and all that stuff.
Oh, sure, man. And you had long distance companies charging what, $2.99 a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
To say hi and I love you to your princess cost $30.
There you go.
Back then it was a lot of money, man. It was
reality, people.
Right. No, I remember. In fact, we were talking not too long ago, friends, about. Still remember in early days of cell phones when if you wanted to call someone in your own state, but maybe 50 miles away, you'd want to wait till after 7 o'clock because it was a lot more expensive to call during the daytime.
Sure. And so when I saw ham radio and I saw it, I was like, wow, man. Not only that, I was capitalistic. I didn't know you were allowed to make money on amateur radio, but I was a little lemonade stand kid at 8 years old. And I'm like, hey, if I can talk to people, if Jimmy wants to talk to so-and-so, I could charge him the $2.99 a minute and talk to another guy who has a radio like I do. And then we could pass the data and it would be really cool because I'm getting $3 a throw. That's better than
a good idea anyway.
Driveways.
Yeah, I couldn't quite pull that off, but it was still a good idea for a little kid. Anyway.
Sure. I mean, I never did it, but I thought it was awesome.
Hogan's Heroes really got me enthused. I did have a neighbor that was a ham where I found out about it, but the whole idea of the stealth communication I thought was very, very cool. So that's one thing. When I met you, I found out that you quite often would set up portable, even if you got a home setup, you would go out and
go out in the backyard, sure. Absolutely. With a battery.
Wherever.
Dave, here's the thing that is really endears me to amateur radio is because when the phones fail, when the internet fails, when whatever the hell other communication there is fails, dude. And even voice on sideband and stuff, you got the continuous wave, you got the A, you got the on, you got the off, you got the dit, you got the da, and you got the spacing. And somebody talked about surfing earlier. To me, that's what CW is on amateur. It's surfing. Getting a hold of the wave and riding her as long as you can. And hopefully my brother, who holds the pole out next to him skiing down the mountain, grabs the pole and he rides with it and skis with me the rest of the way. That's
there you go.
Me, even today, right now.
No, I'm with you, and I can get on voice on any band, but I still much prefer Morse code. And I was just reading the other day about people getting into ham radio and learning Morse code that were deaf, and they're actually using haptic feedback to feel Morse code. That was the only way they could communicate.
Was it Long Island that we heard that? Was it Long Island or Staten Island or Long Island? They have a group out there that's into CW.
It's funny that you guys say that because my wife for Christmas bought me a big, and I mean big, Bluetooth speaker.
Ah, sweet.
It has bass, right? It has a cord. I plug it into the jack of the radio. Dude, I don't hear CW. I feel it through my butt.
Yeah, I bet.
I ride the chair, baby.
Ride the wave, baby.
And you know what? And you know what? The cool part is I don't have to even concentrate on copying anything.
Right. After a while, it is second nature.
It's like you and me talking right here.
So, Mike, I had a question. What kind of radio do you use personally? I know everyone has their own flavor with accessible radios, and since I'm fairly new in the game, what are your recommendations, and what are your recommendations for our audience if they're trying to get into the ham radio ticket?
Well, what do you want to know? What I got or what I recommend?
Either or, both. Like,
what you got first?
What you got and what would you recommend? You know, all of that.
Well, I got a Kenwood TS590 SG. And I like it because it does have a lot of accessibility. For me, it has everything I need. It talks. I can go through the menus. I'm a very busy operator. I'm not one of these guys who hooks the radio up to the computer and then like, okay, I got everything set. Let me go to the park. I'm very busy. I want to change something. I don't.
He's a tweaker. He likes to tweak.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a tweaker. That's right. And I do it, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. I just do it when it's necessary. When I feel like I need to change the filter or the key or speed or the pitch or the equalizer, whatever, man. I don't even know if I'm going to adjust anything, but when I do, it's there and it does.
And the fact is, the Kenwood stuff you can do so much more easily without help or anything.
If my memory serves me right, don't you two have the 5900? Because I've heard that's a base station style, right?
Huh?
Yeah, the 5900.
590. Talking about?
Yeah.
No, so Dave has.
He just wanted to add an extra. He added an extra zero, but the same thing. Yeah, we got the 590.
Now I will say this: my very first rig, and I have a chance to get one. And I'm negotiating a deal right now. Was a 10 Tech Century 21.
Oh yeah.
It's a CW rig. It ain't got no sideband. It ain't got no accessibility. Nothing. But man,
it works.
You got a filter. Oh, geez. Oh,
and it's still usable for a blind guy, regardless.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't always have to have voice or whatever, or special.
I had an oscillator, Dave. I had a guy who built me a 25 kilohertz oscillator. And back in the day, and you might remember this, when we had to log and we used Braille log because we didn't have computers back then, slate and stylus. I had to actually ask the guy who I was talking to, hey, I'm blind. What frequency are we on so I could put it in my log? And I've never had a guy not tell me. I've always had a guy tell me where we were.
Sure.
100% of the time. Oh, we're on 70, 33, 41.
Now, so for people that don't know, in fact, people that can see or that can't, there are a lot of radios where they may have a digital readout, and it'd be impossible for us to know what frequency we're on. And so there are certain radios that will either speak the frequency, or way back in the day, we used to have something that would make a tone every 25 kilohertz or something, and we just go with that, or sometimes put a piece of tape on the dial. That was our accessibility. Just
I never did that. I wasn't a tape guy.
Well, it didn't work very well. Let me tell you, it wasn't worth doing. So, tell me, we're running out of time, but I certainly definitely want to get you back because there's lots of stuff we can talk about in the future. But when it comes to ham radio, what is your favorite aspect of ham radio? I mean, what really are you into? Because there's so many different flavors of ham radio, contesting, sideband, CW, doing, like I say, not just contesting, but DX or working the world. So what part of it turns you on the most?
I would say CW, no matter what, and contesting. I'm a radio sport guy. I like quick in and out, hit it and forget it. I don't want to sit there and rent a room and have tea, right? I just want to, hey, man, because now the other side of it, guys might say, well, yeah, but that's not really cool because you know what you're going to get. It's predictive. And I like rag chews. I just don't want them to be 2 hours long. A half hour is good.
Sure.
I like those. I like to shoot the breeze. But it's CW, man. The novelty of the fact that when all else crap hits the fan and you ain't got nothing. And I'm going to go back to my prison deal. I don't know how many times, how many guys I taught CW to tap on a toilet seat or a heating vent.
Hey, no, I can appreciate that.
Man, we had kites like you wouldn't believe because I taught those guys CW. I had room packed full of guys that wanted to learn CW for whatever reasons they had. They were kiting, they were slighting, they were fighting, and whatever they were doing. But they wanted to know. And boys, at 1 or 2 in the morning when the lights were out,
another way to communicate, and
it was loud and it was crowded and you had to figure out who you were talking to while you were tapping on the crapper.
Well, now I've got to say one thing for sure. Mike had mentioned about CW or ham radio is sometimes the only thing when cell phones and TVs go out. Well, a lot of people will think, well, that just doesn't happen, but truthfully, we know that with like the hurricane up in North Carolina, up in the mountains, a year and a half or so ago, and even with like the
when they hit Houston, Hurricane Harvey on that end, you had North Carolina, Sandy, whatever, New Jersey got hit, and
9/11, for example, all of our cell phones were down, and here we've had a number of hurricanes in Central Florida, and I've actually got a battery set up where when the power goes out, I can hook up to that battery, and I've done it many times, and a way of passing the time, and of course finding out how everybody is, and comparing our whatever damage we've had from the hurricane with other people in the area. So it's a wonderful thing. Talk about a wonderful thing. Having my buddy Mike on has been a wonderful thing. And
one more thing, Mike, if you wouldn't mind, could you mention your last name for me so I could hear? I want to go look up that article you mentioned about your skiing articles and stuff. So, how do I look you up?
Well, I don't know if that article would have been on there because that article was written long before any internet was ever made. But you can't. I think you can find me. McGlashon. I think you can find me, not with the skiing article. I'll have to get my mom to see if she can give me a copy of that because I don't think we're going to have video of that.
Nothing else would be fun to read.
Yeah, just some links to get to our guests.
I think Mom might have. But if you go to Mike McGlashon, Chicago Comets, which is a team I play beatball for, I think you're going to find one video, and you might find others, but I think you're going to find one where I just smashed the ball. We were in Columbus, Georgia, and we were playing somebody, and there was like 3,000 people in that stadium. They'd never seen beatball before. And Nikolai Habibulin, who was our pitcher, he's a Mexican guy, nice guy, really sweet guy. And he was probably like 75 years old when he pitched this to me. He pitched it, he grooved it in there, dude, I ripped it. I ripped it in the next year. It's probably still flying.
Nice. Yeah, I
And
definitely would
that,
like to check
and
it out.
that highlight might be on YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't look myself up very often. Man.
Well, no, I mean, I heard your
lived
name.
it, so
I
I
heard
don't
the
need to
name,
look.
so I just didn't quite. And McGlashon, is that how you?
Yeah,
pronounce it?
McGlashon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, appreciate you, sir, for so much for all your stories, and I've learned a lot from you just from again.
Sorry I didn't get as much to ham radio as Dave wanted.
Well, we could have you back anytime.
We had lots of good stuff on ham radio, but most importantly, we want to know about the guy behind the ham radio.
it,
That's
yeah.
you, man.
You know who the guy is behind the radio?
Huh? Dave, what do you say?
That's AD9CA. Alpha Delta 9, Charlie Alpha. That would be his call.
Did you guys hear it?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. I don't need to do it again.
Oh, yeah,
but
we got
thank you for that. So what he just did is he just used continuous wave there. Mike just did, and
That's right.
he just said his call sign.
I said DE. This is DE. This is 89CA. Alpha.
There you go.
America.
Copy that.
And
Thank
that's
you.
how they communicated amongst the cell block, and cell block number 9.
That's right. Amongst the toilets and the heater vents.
Alpha Delta 9.
I didn't have that call back then. I did not have that call back then. Hey, man.
That's okay,
I didn't have any call sign back then.
But it's a darn cool call now, that's for sure. And
It is, man. I'm so appreciative you guys brought me on here.
Hey, anytime, Mike. It's
Thank
fun.
you so much and I hope the people, I don't know, or at least entertained.
We got to inspire people, you're right? Like you told us a story about your work ethic. So like working at BJ's, I have a BJ's down the road. It is about communication. It is how you run your management. If you can't get this blind guy to help you properly, then you're not managing this place properly.
Now, Mike,
with your team, you have a good team.
No, I disagree with that. I disagree with the way you stated that. It's
ahead.
not on them to do anything. It's
Well, no,
on me.
It's on you. But what I mean is some people will take that, oh, well, I can't work here. They won't help me.
So what?
what?
See ya.
Right. And you're fearless in that. That's why I'm saying that you're fearless in the way you come up to your activities, whatever you need to do, you'll find a way. As we said, from you've kind of been that lemonade stand guy trying to, if you could send out one message on your ham radio, that's a business of sorts, but it's not the right business. And you found that out with what you do today. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to explain to us and correcting us when we were wrong as well.
it was just a lot of fun, and the most important thing, really, and one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to have you on, Mike, is the fact that Hirsch and I are just the average guy, the average blind guy. We certainly don't have any extra superpowers, and the fact that you have gone out, not only getting a job, but having a job that's not necessarily a stereotypical blind quote unquote job, and we work because we like to do things, like to do things outside of, blindness is just one a very small part of us. So we like to do things, and so you got to go out and get a job and those kind of things. So
I think,
really cool to
Dave,
hear.
I think, Dave, the reason I work is because I enjoy supporting my wife and children.
There you go. It allows us to do what we want to do. So, but Mike, we really appreciate it. We'll certainly get you back on here, hopefully sooner than later, and I'll catch you on the bands, Mr. AD9CA. So, see you soon, and thanks so much for being willing and telling us your story. And something tells me there's a whole lot more to find out about Mike McGlashon. So we're gonna keep on working on that.
Yes, indeed. I'm so
Have a good
interested
evening,
to
buddy.
learn, but thank
I
you
sent
so
you
much.
your own call sign, dude. I sent you W4CIDE89CA.
There you go. That's me.
He might have picked it up on the float.
I think so.
Thanks,
Subliminal.
guys. Do I
Thank
mute
you.
or what do I do? Do I get
You
out
can-
of Dodge? How do I do what?
You can mute or sign off, but you're good either way.
You're good to go.
And again, thank you so much.
Are you guys off the air or on the air still?
No, we're still on the
We're
air.
still
my
on the air
friend.
for another
Oh,
hour.
okay. I better be quiet. pretty cool. Okay, hold on. How do we?
Hey, Hirsch.
Yay, Dave.
So, that was a fun little
That was
interview with
amazing.
Mike. Really enjoyed that.
I know. I mean, I know that we notice that CW is important, but again, that was a life history of different aspects and learning from every ham radio operator is different, right? And
Exactly. Morse code's not for everybody, but it's something that both Mike and I really do love. And
Right.
just one more aspect of ham radio. So we appreciate
Surely.
him being there and sharing the story. And we do have a little bit to share with you from the Blind and Beyond radio show, of which we have spinned off. And I've got a brief part of last night's show to share with you that was interesting. But we thank you for sticking around here for the Blind and Beyond YouTube show, and lots more content coming up. So be sure to, what's the deal? Like, subscribe, and share, and all those good things.
yes,
and if you got
thank
any
you
comments,
again for what you've been doing too. I mean, all those views out there, and I know y'all been doing what you have to do with the like, subscribe,
indeed.
and all that. But we'll definitely. We definitely read those comments, and you drive our show. So hopefully, to the person that left the comment about more music for Dave, Dave, more music, please. As I told you from the get-go.
Keep on doing some jam, and I appreciate you listening and enjoying that. So definitely thank you for that.
Blind and Beyond Show at gmail.com if you want to reach out to us and have any other words to say, and we'll be more than happy to.
As long as they're nice words, of course.
But you could speak your mind here, is what I'm trying to get at. So
that's true.
If I'm not doing right, then let me know if I'm not doing right for you.
That's right.
I
Tell
like to serve
Hirsch.
my
Make sure you
community.
tell him.
Just me, yeah, just me.
Give it to him.
But I really enjoy what we've gotten into here for the few weeks. And Dave, we're back on. We're gonna go listen to the show real quick. You think, or you want to go for
and
some
we're doing
words?
the show.
All right.
And we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Monday night. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Monday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And that is 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock. Is it 5 o'clock? I guess it is. Look at your calendars. Look at your schedules. Look at your watches. We'll be back very soon. Thank you again for all that you've contributed today. Dave, pleasure to have you.
Thank you. And now,
off we
a
go.
word from Blind and Beyond Radio.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome back our friend, Alex Elman Foley. And if you don't know by now, Alex is the president and CEO at our wonderful sponsor, Lighthouse Vision Loss Education Center in Sarasota, Florida. Welcome, Alex. Welcome back.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Michael. Hey, guys. Hey, Gary. Hey, everybody.
Hello. How are you?
I am well.
Good.
I'm hoping we don't lose connection because it's pouring here right now for the
so
moment.
it's by you too. 'Cause we're having it also, and so is Chris down in
Sarasota.
Orlando. It's really bad.
Yeah,
tonight.
it's been all over today.
So I'm hoping too.
Yep.
Fingers crossed here.
Yep.
But welcome back. I'm glad
Thank
to have you
you.
back on. It's so nice.
You're welcome.
I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I love being here with you guys.
Oh,
How are
good.
you today?
I'm glad of that. Glad of that.
It's interesting though. We're all in the rainy weather.
Uh-huh.
We're all in
How-
Florida.
Oh, yeah.
How are we doing on the Ides of March here? Just pre
That's right.
St.
March
Patty's
15th,
Day.
The Ides of March.
So did you check out, Alex, did you check out Mr. Lid in your store yet?
All right, we're not talking about Mr. Lid.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to tell you a funny story. Years ago, when
Yeah.
I would look for my, when I'd be in the, this is when I heard Mr. Lid first came out. This is like 10, 15 years ago. And I'd be looking for something in the cabinet and I go, Mr. Lid, where are you? So,
That's funny. So
So those,
tell us about Lighthouse Vision Loss Education Center, because as you know, we have new listeners every Sunday,
sure. And
and people
congratulations on your
from.
syndication. And I'm talking all over the
Well,
country, so
thank
that's
you.
pretty
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you, Alex. So
So at
tell
Vision
us.
Loss Education Center, and actually we've took the education out, so we're Vision Loss Center, but the
Okay.
website's still the same.
Okay.
It's just one less word in in an email name, you know?
All right.
So we serve Southwest Florida. So we serve the counties of Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte, DeSoto, and Highlands County. So we're a little bit of a triangle along the coast of the Gulf Coast and into the middle of the state on the peninsula. And what we do is that we serve people who have vision loss, either just newly lost their vision or are losing their vision, or we also have our children's program, which is our kids who are 5 to 13, our transition and youth program, which is our kids who are 14 to 22, of course, a vocational rehab program, our older blind adult program, and our regular adult program. And within all of those programs, we teach the same things, daily living skills, assistive technology, which is of course using magnifiers and screen readers. We have O&M, orientation and mobility, which is what everybody has to know how to do if they want to get a guide dog. So that's cane skills as well as orientating yourself in the street, as well as counseling. We do a tremendous amount of individual counseling as well as group classes, not only for our clients, but also for their families, because blindness and vision loss doesn't only affect the person, it affects the family. And we think that's such an important piece. We were very fortunate to just hire our brand new licensed clinical social worker. So we're really excited about that. So we can even give more and more classes and individualized service to people who are, struggling with blindness or just learning, how to learn how to deal with losing their sight. So we're super excited about that. Our store, our Illumination Low Vision store, is doing extremely well. We are selling Meta glasses like it's going out of style. We are also giving our Meta glasses classes. Yes? Is there a question?
Oh, I thought you
I
were
got
still
a question
talking
for
about
you.
Meta glasses.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I had low vision, not completely lost, and they sold 2020s, 2020 pencils or pens or whatever. Do you sell them yet? They popular?
What are those? So explain those what those are to me, and I can tell you if we sell them.
2020 pen was made when you wrote an S. It was really thick S.
Okay.
Like that.
I think we have the thick
the
pens. I don't know
larger
if they're called
points.
2020 pens.
Yeah.
I think we have those because we have lots of stuff. We also have like the pens that make everything stand up, like the puffy pens. So the ink that comes out is puffy, so you can write with that.
Oh,
And this,
okay.
yeah.
Wow.
And we
Alex,
also have yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. What I was wondering if you could talk to the people who are just losing their sight and are very nervous about calling in. What would you say to them, those people that are out there listening, whether they're up north, they're coming down, they're snowbirds, they live by
Sure. Ooh, we just had a big thunder. Okay, what I would say to you, to anybody who's losing their sight and you're nervous and you don't really know what to do, is just call us. Even if you aren't going to be staying in the area where we serve, we will get you to the right people. Our client experience coordinator, her name is Mary Boswell. She's the kindest person you'll ever speak to. She'll help you get what you need, the services you need, get you signed up with Division of Blind Services. Because in the state of Florida, if you meet the criteria for the Division of Blind Services, all of your services are free. I want to say that again,
Right.
They are free. Because we've had some people out there, some organizations out there that try to charge people, even if it's just a copay, for services that they don't need. So if you're coming to Florida and you're getting services like rehab services or services for low vision, services for blind, being blind from birth, whatever, they are free. So that's my PSA for this. But don't be afraid. Go ahead.
What did you do, Alice, when you first lost your sight? What did you do, and where did you turn to? So people
when I
know
first
they can
lost my
identify
sight,
with you.
I was in New York, but that's different. I mean, it's a little bit different. So when I came to Florida and I needed additional training, what I did was I called the Lighthouse Vision Loss Center. And because I was going to be a vocational rehab client, meaning that I was going back to work. I spoke to the person at the lighthouse, Mary Boswell, and she took all my information. She did my application to the Division of Blind Services for me, and she followed my application to make sure that, I was getting the services I needed to get from them. Now, I myself am a very big self advocate in everything. I have a very big mouth. So when I don't feel that things aren't happening fast enough, I pick up the phone and I make phone calls.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Sounds like somebody
yeah.
on this end.
So, I think that one of the most important things is, yes, it's really scary, but that help that you need is on the other end of the line, right? At the lighthouse, we understand. We take care of people. We get clients the services they need, and there are quite a few of us who are visually impaired or totally blind or
Right.
partially blind or low vision at the lighthouse. So we understand, and I run the joint, right? So I understand, right?
Yeah.
So
I got one question.
yes, sir.
And so I'm going to the lighthouse here for a few times. When you first go to independent living skills and all that stuff, the very, very, very beginning, do they still supply transportation for free?
Well, so within the counties, you can get transportation for free from, so for example, in Florida, in Sarasota, it's called Breeze Plus, and in Manatee County, it's called MCAT, and in Charlotte County, it has a different name. But what we do, because we find that Manatee and Sarasota for our main headquarters, those are the closest counties. So those services are not 100% free. They're like $2.50 or something like that a ride. Don't quote me on the
Okay.
amount.
That's
But you
cheap.
have to get those.
That's cheap. It's cheap transportation for you.
Yes, and it gets you
You're
there.
not going to go broke. It's just to get to school. You're not going to go broke.
Yeah.
No,
So
you're not going to go broke.
What do you find, Alex, is the first, generally speaking, when people call up, what is the thing that's most on their minds? Is it
I think the
daily
thing
living
that's most on their
skills or-
minds is being able to use their phones. We'll get people to coming into our activities of daily living classes, where we're teaching them everything from how to put the toothpaste on their toothbrush to, counting their money to cooking. But the thing that they want from the second they walk in is how can they use their phone
Because
to
that
make
phone's
phone
a
calls.
lifeline. Yeah, the phone
Yep.
is a lifeline.
Exactly. And not only that, it's all the other apps, but being able to do their banking, being able to, use some of the apps like Be My Eyes. And we teach, they don't even know what's, when you first come in, you have no idea what's out there, right? It's like when you buy a white car. You've never seen a white car in your life until you buy one. Then every single car on the road's white, right? So people have no idea what they don't know until they come in. And all the things that we have, all the tools that we have that can help someone with vision loss.
Here's the thought, Alex. This is Michael speaking.
I know. I
A lot of
recognize your
people-
voice, darling.
There's a lot of people
No kidding.
up north from all those snowstorms. They want to move down to Florida.
Yep.
The question is, when they want to move down, they have no idea. Do they want to move to West Coast, East Coast? They want to live to Fort Lauderdale. They want to be in Tampa. They want to be in Clearwater. They have no idea. And yet, the first thing they think about is, where can they go for, if they're visually impaired or blind, where can they go to learn about assisted living? And right off the bat, you stepped into the front line, because when you start talking about what you folks do is different than a lot of other folks. I'm not going to go into your brothers and sisters and other organizations throughout Florida, but you folks are really ahead of the market, really ahead of the game when you start talking about you folks in Sarasota.
We're learning independent schools.
Because we do go into the assisted living communities, not only assisted living, but independent living communities. We go in and we do outreaches. We come and talk to them, and we're just going to start bringing in our mini ADL classes, activities of daily living, to be able to bring them into those communities. Because people, let's remember this. You've got low vision. You probably shouldn't be driving, right? And how are you going to get to the lighthouse? So that's why we also are bringing not only our small classes of activities of daily living, but we are also waiting to see if the state gives us some funding. Otherwise, we're going to do it anyway, for what we're calling our mobile education center. So this vehicle will have not only our store in it, it'll have somebody who will sign people up for services, but also will have a small classroom in it. Yep.
Terrific.
So
How big
we're
is the vehicle going to be?
well. Our hope is that we'll get the funding for the 48-foot vehicle, so it'll be a big vehicle.
That's
Um,
amazing.
Yep, and it'll
Is
be
that a
outfitted for
first?
that.
Alex, is that at first? I've
I
never
think
heard
it's
of
a first for for vision loss stuff. They have libraries that do this, blood banks, et cetera.
Right.
But I think it's a first for low vision. We want to be able to make sure that we can get to our rural communities, to the people who really, you think about people in Highlands and DeSoto County, there's no transportation to get to us.
Right.
So,
right.
and we want, and also even in our regular counties. So our plan is to have the vehicle in every county once a week. So like one day,
That's a
Sarasota.
first. That's a first.
That's
I heard.
terrific. I hope
Well,
it
I'm
all works
trying,
out.
Yeah.
we're really trying to revolutionize the way that services are delivered to people. We want people to be able to get out, to be independent, et cetera. But we also want them to be able to get services if they can't get out. If they live off like some rural route and it's a dirt road, how are you going to get out?
Yep.
Right. So
That's
Boy, that's good.
looking
So the
forward to
mo-
hearing more about that. So when do you think?
Well, we're hoping to know if we have funding. The last thing that's got to happen is the governor's got to say yes or no, and that's part of the funding. The rest we're raising as we go. So we've definitely raised some towards it already, in the hopes that we get the entire amount for the large vehicle. But if we don't, we'll start with a small one. We know that this is
Yes.
needed out in the community.
Absolutely.
So let's give everybody the information where you are before
Mhm.
we.
Yep. So we serve
Tonight.
Sarasota County, Manatee County, Charlotte County, Highlands County, and DeSoto County. So we are in between basically Fort Myers and Tampa on the west coast of Florida. The place is called the Lighthouse Vision Loss Center. And our email address is Lighthouse, what is it? Educationcenter.org.
I believe it's info@lighthouseeducationcenter.org.
Yep, and our website is up to date. We also have our giving challenge coming up, which is a huge event for our lighthouse in our area. Over 850 charities look to raise money for 24 hours. So please go, and I'll get you the name of the exact link. It'll be on our website too, info@lighthouseeducationcenter.org for the giving challenge, which goes for 24 hours on the 15th of April to the 16th of April. So noon on the 15th to noon on the 16th.
Okay, and you're at 7318 North Tamiami Trail in Sarasota.
Correct.
And then we love it over there.
Yep, and our phone number is 941-359-1404.
Okay, well,
Say
thank you
that
so
again,
much,
please.
Alex.
Yep, I'll say the phone number one more time.
Say it one more time.
941-359-1404.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you, guys. I'm from New York. I try to talk fast. Got a lot of information to get out. Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much
you
for
talk
having me
fast.
again.
All right,
Take
we
care.
made it.
All
The
right.
power didn't go.
All right,
care.
thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
That was Lynn, Mike, and the crew with the Blind and Beyond radio show. That was last night, Sunday night. Thank you so much for listening to Blind and Beyond here on YouTube.
Thank
And
you.
of course, we want to thank our guests. Really appreciate them taking the time. And
That was our number one, Greg Lindberg. Thank you so much. Our number two, Mike
McGlashon.
McGlashon.
Indeed. And that's Hirsch. And I'm
Oh yeah,
Dave.
that's me. Hey you, what's going on you? You enjoying yourself on this show here, man?
Absolutely. And a cast of thousands. We want to thank Mike Latta and
Yes.
let's see, Julie was in there helping
Julie was
out.
in
and
here. Thank you, Martin,
Martin.
aka Mickey, for giving us extra machine to have everything going right.
Yeah.
And a pair of eyes.
Yep, he's a good guy.
Thank you, Simon Ray, from the Office Hours After Hours group, for helping me even set up all the Zoom stuff and the YouTube things and all of those little intricacies. So
thank you, Simon.
We can't do it without all of y'all, and I really appreciate this opportunity that we get to come live to you guys every Monday.
You know, it takes a village, they say. It actually takes more than a village, really.
You learned that, didn't you, now?
a village is just where you get the food. I mean, it takes a lot sometimes. So we appreciate everyone helping out, including my wonderful wife, who has been a huge help.
Thank
getting me
you,
to
thank you,
look
thank you,
civilized.
Brenda. Yeah, shout out to Brenda. And it sounded really cool. Even in the beginning, the little intro you did, that version sounded really good too.
Yeah, thanks.
Hopefully they liked it. Hopefully they like our new vehicle because they won't let me drive no more.
No.
Ouch. I can't even drive a self-driving car, guys.
With the spaceship, we're all on even
No?
footing.
No, but some people came off at me like I can't drive no more. So can I drive a self-driving car? Maybe. Let me know in the comments, please.
They don't have a say.
Well, they said it to us. They're like, you can't drive no more because we keep wrecking our bikes. But
Yeah.
they're good. Their bikes are still working. You heard the
Hey.
bikes come out again in the middle of the show.
Hey, you heard Mike McGlashon. He was bumping into things, but didn't stop
Yeah.
him.
Right. That was so
Didn't
awesome.
stop
man.
him.
Riding in a two-wheel bicycle. He rode, but he didn't care.
That
I mean,
is a brave.
until his dad told. That is a brave soul right there. But hey, man, that story was just funny because it all takes back to family.
I'm
And
telling
this
ya.
family that I have here, Dave, you're just like family to me, man. So,
And likewise. So-
I'm sorry that we didn't have all the tidbits, looking smooth, and we have a couple wrinkles here and there, but we're trying our best. We're the blind guys on the Blind and Beyond show.
Yeah, that's what you get,
And thank you
Stay
for our
warm.
participants.
Yes. Thank you, N3WER. I think if you're still listening, we appreciate
And
that.
the main reason, Dave, I want to say thank you is I know for some of you guests that might come aboard, you might not be used to cameras. We care about the audience to know your story. And if you move around, so be it. At least somebody got to see a face or two. You know what Greg Lindberg looks like if you ever see him in his neck of the woods.
We try.
And, we just want to be respectful to, of course, our blind folks, but we also want to be able to have equivalency to have video on and bring you this show on YouTube. So please, if you have any questions, blindandbeyondshow@gmail.com. And if you want to donate to the mothership, it's blindandbeyondradioshow.org, which they are a 501(c), and hence we have come to you onto YouTube from that show. Mr. Hillebrandt, I think till next week. Next week we have some musicians, I think, right, lined up. We might have some more Braille. I have a couple Braille things that I'm working on. Maybe we'll bring in some vendors of Braille again.
I'm hoping my friend from the Braille Doodle will be
That's
on
what I'm
there.
hoping for. Daniel, we're looking for you. If you're watching us, we're looking for you next week, sir.
This is an early shout out building up for the.
We gave it
Daniel.
away, Dave. Should we give away another name? Nah, we'll wait for another guest. Come watch.
Exactly. But yep, it's going to be fun and interesting. So be there.
Or B square, I think they say.
Have a wonderful week. And God
Stay
bless
safe,
you.
Stay cool, stay warm, stay comfortable. Much respect to everybody. Thank you again for another wonderful time here on the Blind and Beyond show. Peace and love. Bye.